You've been told that peace and restful sleep come from quieting the mind, from a perfect night with no worries, no stress. But if that were true, why do so many people still toss and turn, staring at the ceiling, feeling overwhelmed, their minds racing with thoughts that won't stop? Why do you still find yourself unable to truly rest, constantly carrying the weight of the day into your dreams? The truth is, peaceful sleep and inner calm aren't things you find outside of yourself. They're built from within, like a foundation you lay, brick by brick. And Buddhist teachings hold the key to that transformation. For thousands of years, the greatest Buddhist minds have shared simple yet profound lessons on how to calm the mind, ease the heart, and embrace the present moment. These lessons aren't just theories, they are practices that lead to real, lasting peace. By focusing on mindfulness, compassion, and the art of letting go, you'll unlock the ability to rest deeply, sleep soundly, and wake up feeling truly refreshed. Tonight, as you hear these lessons, something will shift. Your mind will quiet, the chaos will slow down, and you'll begin to feel lighter, like the weight of the world is lifting off your shoulders. Tomorrow, when you wake up, you'll see things differently, stronger, calmer, and in control. This isn't just another guide on how to sleep better. This is a chance for true transformation. Are you ready? Let's begin. The pressure of life often comes with a price: restlessness, anxiety, and sleepless nights. You've felt it, haven't you? The constant buzz of thoughts, the overwhelming desire to escape the noise in your mind, and the desperate hope for even a few hours of peaceful sleep. But the truth is, the key to true rest is not something external. It's within you, waiting to be uncovered. It's found in the simple yet powerful practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness is often seen as just a buzzword, a trendy way of talking about being present, but when practiced correctly, it's the gateway to a calm, clear mind and restful sleep. It's the antidote to anxiety, to the cycle of overthinking that keeps you awake at night. Rather than waiting for the world around you to quiet down, mindfulness teaches you how to quiet your mind, creating a space where peace can exist naturally. We're so used to rushing, to filling our lives with endless tasks and distractions, that the idea of pausing for a moment to simply be, to notice the present, feels almost foreign. But it's precisely this pause that holds the power to change everything. Before you can achieve deep, restful sleep, you must first learn how to settle your mind, allowing your body to relax into the night without the burdens of worry or the distractions of the day. Mindfulness is an act of bringing your full awareness to the present moment, without judgment. It's about noticing your thoughts and emotions without getting caught up in them. Instead of battling the thoughts that come rushing in at bedtime, mindfulness allows you to observe them, acknowledge them, and then release them. The more you practice this awareness, the less those thoughts will dominate your mental space. Over time, it's like training your mind to slip into a peaceful state, ready for sleep, as easily as turning off a light. This practice of mindful awareness before bed doesn't just happen overnight. It requires dedication and consistency, but the rewards are undeniable. The process of slowly and intentionally calming the mind can transform your ability to fall asleep and the quality of your sleep itself. As you let go of the day's stress, you create room for peace to settle into your mind and body, ensuring that sleep becomes an effortless transition instead of a struggle. At its core, mindfulness teaches you how to be in tune with your body. You'll notice how your breath deepens when you focus on it, how your body starts to relax when you stop and pay attention. As your awareness grows, you'll realize how much tension you carry, how much is locked in your muscles, in your posture, even in the way you breathe. With mindfulness, you begin to notice these things, and in noticing, you can release them. You can slow down your breath, unclench your jaw, relax your shoulders. It's in these small moments of awareness that you begin to transform your body's relationship with sleep. But mindfulness doesn't just help you sleep, it helps you live better. It teaches you to stop living in a rush, to stop filling every moment with noise and distractions. This practice slows everything down, giving you space to breathe, to be present, and to truly rest, not just at night, but throughout your life. The key is learning to let go of your need for control, to release the tight grip you have on your thoughts and worries. With mindfulness, you begin to find balance in your life, and that balance extends into your sleep. In Buddhist philosophy, mindfulness is a way of life. It's not just something you do for a few minutes here and there. It's a practice that transforms how you experience everything, including sleep. When you embrace mindfulness, you start to live with intention, with purpose. Your life begins to flow, and so does your sleep. As you make mindfulness a regular part of your evening routine, you start to notice how your mind becomes more peaceful, how you sleep more soundly, and how your waking hours become less stressed and more connected to the present moment. For the mind to let go of the day's stress and settle into restful sleep, it requires an intentional shift. It's about making a conscious choice to leave the day behind and not carry it into the night. The practice of mindfulness helps create this shift. It guides you to focus not on the past or the future, but on the here and now, on what is happening in the moment. By practicing mindfulness before bed, you teach your mind to stop chasing after thoughts, to stop rehearsing the day's conversations or planning tomorrow's meetings. Instead, your mind learns to rest in the present, ready to sleep deeply and without interruption. As you lie in bed, you can begin by simply bringing your attention to your breath. Slow it down. Focus on the rise and fall of your chest, the air filling your lungs, and the quiet space between breaths. As you do this, you'll notice how your body starts to relax. Your thoughts may still come and go, but instead of getting tangled in them, you simply notice them, let them pass, and return to your breath. This process doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, the beauty of mindfulness is that it's not about perfection. It's about being present with whatever is happening without judgment. It's a practice that allows you to let go of expectations, to release the need for things to be just right, and instead to embrace the natural flow of things. When practiced consistently, this mindfulness practice can change how you experience sleep. The more you bring your awareness to the present moment before sleep, the more you'll find that sleep comes naturally. You won't need to force it, and it won't feel like a battle. It will be a peaceful transition, a release, as your body and mind come together in calmness, ready for deep, restful sleep. Mindfulness doesn't just help you fall asleep, it helps you stay asleep. By quieting the mind before bed, you reduce the chances of waking up in the middle of the night, tossing and turning, caught in a cycle of restless thoughts. Mindfulness allows you to settle your mind so deeply that even if you wake up during the night, it's easier to return to sleep. You won't be gripped by anxiety or the need to check the time. Instead, you'll be able to relax and drift back into a peaceful state of rest. The beauty of mindfulness is that it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. It's a deeply personal practice, one that can be shaped to fit your own needs. Some people find it helpful to meditate before bed, while others prefer to focus on their breath or body sensations. Whatever method you choose, the key is consistency. The more you practice mindfulness, the easier it becomes to slip into a restful state before sleep. As you begin to embrace mindfulness as part of your evening routine, you'll find that it has a ripple effect on your entire life. You'll feel more grounded, more in tune with yourself, and more at peace. Your days will become less hectic, less driven by the need for external validation or success, and more focused on being present in each moment. Your sleep, once a struggle, will become a peaceful sanctuary, a time for deep rest and rejuvenation. The role of mindfulness in achieving deep sleep goes beyond the mechanics of breathing and body awareness. It's about cultivating a mindset that is open, accepting, and free from judgment. It's about learning to be kind to yourself and to let go of the pressure you place on yourself to be perfect or to do everything right. Mindfulness teaches you to relax into the flow of life, to trust that you are enough, just as you are. In the end, mindfulness isn't just a technique to help you sleep, it's a way of living that brings peace, calm, and clarity. It teaches you how to release the weight of the day and to embrace the present moment. It's a practice that connects you to the natural rhythm of your body and the world around you, allowing you to find rest not just at night, but throughout your entire life. With mindfulness, sleep becomes more than just a break from the chaos. It becomes a deep, restorative process that nourishes the mind, body, and soul. When you learn to quiet the mind and embrace the present moment, you unlock the potential for true, restful sleep and a life filled with peace. As we move from mindfulness to the power of living in the present moment, a subtle shift occurs. Mindfulness taught us how to calm our minds, but now it's time to dive deeper into the very essence of peace, being here now. It's not about being lost in thoughts of what could have been or what might be. It's about shedding the burden of past regrets and future worries, finding freedom from the noise that keeps us awake. The power of the present moment is more than just a tool for mental clarity. It's the key to unlocking a night of peaceful slumber. The truth is, sleep is not just a physical need, it's deeply tied to the mental state we cultivate before we close our eyes. How often have you found yourself tossing and turning, unable to drift into sleep because your mind is weighed down with the past or anxious about what tomorrow will bring? The beauty of the present moment is that it allows you to break free from that endless loop of overthinking. When you focus on the here and now, the future loses its power over you. Your past no longer has a grip on your emotions, and the endless worries about tomorrow fade into the background. This simple shift, which seems so effortless yet is so powerful, can transform your sleep from restless to rejuvenating. At its core, the present moment invites you to let go of everything else. The past, with its regrets and missed opportunities, no longer defines your state of being. Likewise, the future, with all its uncertainties, doesn't hold the power to create anxiety within you. The present moment is where life happens, and it's in this moment that sleep becomes possible. The reason we often struggle with sleep is because we allow our minds to live in the past or the future, where our thoughts take root and begin to grow into anxiety, stress, or even regret. But the moment we shift our awareness to the now, we free ourselves from these mental burdens. The present moment is, in essence, an invitation to embrace stillness. In Buddhist teachings, this is where true peace resides. The idea is simple but transformative. We cannot change the past, and we cannot control the future. The only thing we have power over is the present. This truth can bring immediate relief, especially as it relates to sleep. By allowing ourselves to settle into the present, we automatically release the grip that our thoughts, regrets, and worries hold over us. This creates an opening for rest. When you are not caught in the current of past experiences or future expectations, sleep is no longer a battle. It's a gentle surrender. This shift can start with something as simple as focusing on your breath, feeling the coolness of the air entering your nostrils and the warmth of it leaving. This small but powerful act anchors you in the now. The beauty of the present moment is that it doesn't require you to do anything. There is no need to chase after thoughts or fix problems. It's simply about noticing what is here. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes to let go of distractions and settle into a peaceful state that is perfect for sleep. For many people, sleep is an escape from the pressures of life. But what if it wasn't an escape at all? What if sleep was a natural extension of a peaceful mind, where the tension of daily life didn't need to accumulate in the first place? When you embrace the present moment, you create an environment in which your body can rest without the need for distractions, anxieties, or mental chatter. This is the power of truly being present, and it's a power that can transform the way you approach both your days and your nights. Living in the present moment is about releasing control. It's about realizing that you don't need to constantly manage your thoughts or emotions in order to achieve peace. You don't need to wrestle with your mind before bed. Instead, you allow the mind to be as it is, without judgment or resistance. This kind of acceptance makes sleep come easier because there is no longer a struggle. The fight to quiet your mind fades as you understand that you don't need to fight at all. All you need to do is show up, be present, and let go. In Buddhist practice, there's a principle called non-attachment. It teaches that the more we cling to ideas, emotions, or outcomes, the more we suffer. This is true not only for our waking life, but also for our sleep. When we are attached to the idea of sleep, obsessing over the need to fall asleep quickly, or worrying about waking up in the middle of the night, we create resistance. And this resistance creates tension, keeping us wide awake, no matter how tired we may be. But when we release the need to control our sleep and allow it to unfold naturally, we open the door for rest. We stop chasing after sleep and instead create the mental space for it to happen effortlessly. Understanding the present moment also allows us to release the hold that time itself has over us. How often do we find ourselves checking the clock, feeling pressure to fall asleep by a certain hour? This pressure can heighten anxiety, making sleep more elusive. When you let go of the need for time to dictate your rest, you remove another layer of stress. The present moment is timeless. It exists beyond the confines of the ticking clock. By focusing on the now, you create a sense of timelessness where sleep comes when it's ready to arrive, not when the clock tells you it should. You may also find that living in the present moment allows you to observe your thoughts without being consumed by them. In the moments before sleep, we often find ourselves replaying conversations, wondering about the future, or analyzing the past. But when we return to the present, we simply observe these thoughts without getting caught up in them. We don't need to solve anything or figure things out. We can just let them pass by, like leaves floating down a stream. This practice of observing thoughts without attachment allows the mind to quiet, creating a perfect environment for deep, uninterrupted rest. As you begin to embrace the present moment, you may notice that your relationship with sleep starts to change. No longer is it something to strive for or force. Instead, it becomes a natural state that unfolds when the mind and body are both in harmony. Your nightly routine will transform from a battle to a peaceful ritual, where each step is a gentle release of the day's burdens. You no longer lie in bed thinking about how you should be asleep or how you need to fall asleep. Instead, you focus on the present moment, and with each breath, you allow sleep to come naturally. But it's not just about the act of falling asleep. The quality of sleep improves when we live in the present. Our sleep cycles become less interrupted, our rest becomes more profound, and our bodies receive the restoration they need. When we let go of the tension created by overthinking and obsessing over our sleep, we can experience a deeper, more nourishing rest. This kind of rest doesn't just leave you physically recharged, but emotionally and mentally rejuvenated as well. Living in the present moment also means letting go of expectations. You don't need to force yourself to sleep in a certain way or have a particular experience. You simply surrender to the moment and trust that rest will come when it's meant to. This release of expectations eliminates pressure, creating the conditions for true peace. The beauty of the present moment lies in its simplicity. We often complicate sleep with our thoughts and emotions, but when we simply allow ourselves to be in the now, we let go of the need for perfection. We let go of the worry, the need to control, and the fear of not sleeping. And in doing so, we unlock the power of peaceful sleep, sleep that is deep, restorative, and free of the distractions that often keep us awake. In the end, the present moment is not just a tool for better sleep, it's a doorway to a calmer, more peaceful life. It invites you to stop chasing after things and start experiencing life as it is, right now. When you embrace the present, you stop worrying about what was or what could be, and you begin to experience rest, peace, and freedom. Sleep, in this way, becomes a natural extension of your ability to live fully and peacefully in the present moment. By letting go of the past and the future, you create space for the deepest kind of rest, a sleep that nourishes both body and soul. And so, as you lay your head on the pillow tonight, remember that the present moment is your greatest ally in finding peaceful slumber. Release the need to control, let go of the past and future, and simply rest in the now. You'll find that sleep, like peace, comes naturally when you stop searching for it and simply allow it to be. As we continue to explore the path toward peaceful slumber, we now turn our attention to one of the most powerful tools for calming the mind: Buddhist meditation. The present moment helps us release the past and future, but meditation provides a practical way to settle the mind and prepare for deep rest. For many, the idea of meditation can seem daunting, something reserved for monks or deeply spiritual individuals. But in truth, meditation is simply a practice of focus, presence, and letting go. It's about training the mind to quiet the noise and make room for peace. As we delve into specific meditation techniques like Vipassana and Metta, you'll discover how these ancient practices can help you release the disruptions that keep you awake at night and instead invite the tranquility needed for restful sleep. Vipassana, one of the oldest forms of meditation in Buddhist tradition, focuses on insight and awareness. It's a method that teaches you to observe your thoughts and feelings without attachment, allowing you to see them clearly and without judgment. This is especially powerful before sleep, when our minds are often flooded with the remnants of the day worries, frustrations, or unresolved emotions. By practicing Vipassana, you begin to notice your thoughts as they arise, but instead of getting caught up in them, you learn to simply observe them. You acknowledge them as they are and let them pass by, like clouds drifting in the sky. This helps clear mental clutter and creates a sense of calm that's perfect for drifting off to sleep. One of the reasons we struggle with sleep is because we hold on to our thoughts and emotions. These unresolved mental patterns keep us on high alert even when we want to relax. Vipassana teaches us how to break that cycle. By observing our thoughts without judgment or attachment, we start to realize that they don't need to control us. You don't have to act on every thought that comes to mind. You don't have to hold on to every emotion. Instead, you can simply notice them and let them go, creating space for stillness and peace. This practice can be incredibly effective before bedtime, as it allows you to release the mental clutter that can keep you awake, helping your mind transition from the busy pace of the day to the quiet stillness required for restful sleep. Another powerful Buddhist meditation technique for promoting peaceful sleep is Metta, or loving-kindness meditation. Metta is about cultivating feelings of goodwill, kindness, and love not just toward others but also toward yourself. This practice is especially beneficial when stress, worry, or negative emotions have built up throughout the day. Instead of carrying those emotions into the night, Metta allows you to replace them with positive intentions. By silently repeating phrases like, "May I be happy, may I be peaceful, may I be safe," you send these loving thoughts to yourself, gently calming your mind and preparing it for rest. Once you've established this feeling of love for yourself, you can extend it to others, your loved ones, acquaintances, or even people with whom you may have conflicts. By sending out feelings of love and compassion, you create an emotional space that's free from negativity and anxiety, paving the way for a peaceful night's sleep. The beauty of Metta lies in its simplicity. You don't need to have any special skills or knowledge to practice it. You simply need to allow yourself to feel compassion and kindness, both for yourself and others. As you close your eyes at night, instead of focusing on the worries or frustrations of the day, metta meditation helps you replace those negative thoughts with loving intentions. This shift in mindset reduces stress, calms your emotions, and creates a heart-centered peace that prepares your body and mind for the restorative rest that sleep offers. By regularly practicing metta, you'll find that sleep becomes a more peaceful experience, one that's not disturbed by lingering anxieties or unresolved emotions. Both vipassana and metta are deeply transformative practices, but when combined, they can create a powerful meditation routine before bedtime. Vipassana helps you release the thoughts and mental clutter that can keep you awake, while metta fills the emotional space with love and kindness, fostering a sense of inner peace. Together, these practices help you achieve a state of tranquility that is essential for restful sleep. And the beauty is, these practices don't just apply to sleep, they can enhance every aspect of your life. When you incorporate vipassana and metta into your evening routine, you create a mental and emotional space that encourages not only better sleep, but also a more peaceful and centered approach to life in general. Of course, meditation isn't a magic cure for all sleep problems. It requires patience and practice, but with time, you'll notice a significant shift in the quality of your sleep. Instead of lying awake, trapped in your thoughts, you'll find that your mind begins to slow down, that you are able to release tension and worries, and that sleep comes more naturally. Meditation gives you the tools to train your mind, to let go of the distractions that stand between you and rest. It creates a peaceful environment within yourself that doesn't rely on external conditions to fall asleep. And that, ultimately, is the true power of meditation, the ability to find peace, calm, and rest, regardless of the chaos of the world around you. One of the most important aspects of meditation before bed is consistency. Like any new habit, it can take time to cultivate. But even a few minutes of practice each night can begin to shift the way your mind approaches sleep. It's not about forcing yourself to fall asleep right away, it's about creating a mental space that invites relaxation and calm. With regular practice, you'll find that the meditation routine becomes a natural part of your evening, a moment of peace before you close your eyes and let go of the day. The impact of these Buddhist meditation practices goes beyond just improving your sleep. They begin to reshape the way you relate to yourself and the world around you. Vipassana and metta teach you how to be more present, more compassionate, and more aware of your thoughts and emotions. They help you break free from the habitual patterns of stress and anxiety that often lead to poor sleep, and instead replace them with a sense of balance, acceptance, and peace. This shift in mindset not only makes it easier to fall asleep, but it also transforms the quality of your waking life as you begin to carry the peace you cultivate in your meditation practice throughout your day. Meditation, in its simplest form, is about finding stillness amidst the noise. It's about learning to be present, accepting whatever arises, and letting go of whatever no longer serves you. When you approach your sleep with this mindset, you create an environment where rest can naturally unfold. The practices of vipassana and metta offer a profound way to nurture your mind, calm your body, and release the disruptions that often prevent restful sleep. By committing to these practices, you'll not only improve your sleep, but also enrich your life with greater peace, clarity, and emotional balance. These practices, rooted in Buddhist tradition, are not quick fixes. They require dedication and consistency, but the results are transformative. With time, you will find yourself sleeping more soundly, waking up more refreshed, and feeling more at peace in every aspect of your life. Meditation teaches you to embrace the present, to release the past, and to face the future with compassion and love. It's a practice that not only enhances your sleep, but also nourishes your mind, body, and spirit in ways that go far beyond the hours you spend in bed. And as you continue this journey of mindfulness and loving kindness, you'll discover that peaceful sleep isn't just a goal, it's a natural byproduct of a life lived in harmony with the present moment. As we've seen, meditation offers a profound way to quiet the mind and prepare for peaceful sleep. Yet, even after practicing mindfulness or loving kindness meditation, many still find themselves trapped by the clutter of their thoughts. The truth is, mental clutter is something most of us carry around unconsciously. It's the baggage of unresolved emotions, unprocessed events, and attachments that we hold onto, often without realizing it. And as night falls, this clutter only becomes more noticeable, keeping us awake long after we've tucked ourselves in. So how do we release this mental weight and make room for rest? The answer lies in the Buddhist practice of letting go. Buddhist teachings are clear on one thing: attachment is the root of suffering. We cling to things, ideas, and people, often out of fear, need, or desire. But this attachment, this constant holding on to what is, keeps us tied to the past and the future, preventing us from being present in the moment. At night, this attachment can manifest in the form of racing thoughts, anxieties, and worries about what might come or what has already happened. The more we hold on to these thoughts, the more restless we become. But by learning to let go, we free ourselves from this cycle and create the space needed for deep, restorative sleep. The act of letting go doesn't mean forgetting or abandoning what matters. Instead, it's about releasing the tight grip we have on our thoughts, our emotions, and the events of the day. In Buddhism, this practice is known as non-attachment, which doesn't mean indifference, but rather the ability to experience life without being ruled by it. When we hold on to something tightly, whether it's a grudge, a memory, or a worry, we give it power over us. It consumes our thoughts, clouds our minds, and keeps us from experiencing the peace of the present moment. The goal is not to suppress these thoughts, but to acknowledge them, understand them, and then let them float away, like leaves drifting down a stream. One of the most powerful aspects of Buddhist teachings on letting go is the recognition that everything is impermanent. All things, whether physical or mental, are constantly changing. Our thoughts, our emotions, and our circumstances are never fixed. And yet, we often hold on to them as if they will last forever. The truth is, nothing does. When we embrace the impermanence of life, we begin to understand that the clutter in our minds, too, will pass. It doesn't need to control us. In fact, the more we try to hold on to it, the more it resists our efforts, growing bigger and louder in our minds. But when we let go, it has no choice but to fade. This understanding of impermanence can be particularly powerful before sleep. Think about the things that typically keep you awake at night: past regrets, fears about the future, unresolved issues from the day. Each of these thoughts holds you captive, pulling you back into the past or propelling you into an uncertain future. By acknowledging their impermanent nature, you allow yourself to release the grip they have on you. You accept that these thoughts are not permanent, that they are fleeting, and you allow them to pass without clinging to them. This is the essence of letting go. Not pushing thoughts away, but simply allowing them to be without attaching to them. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes, and the easier it is to enter into a state of peaceful relaxation, ready for deep sleep. Letting go is also deeply connected to forgiveness. Many of us carry the weight of old hurts, grudges, or regrets, and these emotional attachments can keep us restless at night. In Buddhism, forgiveness is not about excusing harmful behavior or forgetting what happened. It's about freeing yourself from the burden of holding on to anger, resentment, or guilt. By forgiving, you let go of the emotional weight that keeps you chained to the past. This doesn't mean you condone what has happened, but you choose to release the negative emotions that prevent you from finding peace. By forgiving yourself and others, you create an emotional space for rest, uncluttered by the heavy baggage of resentment. Another important element of letting go in Buddhist practice is the concept of detachment from outcomes. We often get caught up in expectations, expecting a certain result, a specific outcome, or a desired way things should unfold. But this attachment to how things should be keeps us stuck, either in frustration when things don't go as planned, or in constant worry about what will happen next. At night, this can manifest as racing thoughts about the future, concerns about work, family, or goals. When we practice letting go, we release the need to control these outcomes. We trust that everything will unfold as it is meant to, and we stop fighting against the flow of life. This detachment doesn't mean giving up on our goals or desires. It simply means releasing the need to control every aspect of them, knowing that peace comes from acceptance, not control. To truly practice letting go, it's important to recognize that we cannot always control our thoughts. They will come and they will go, whether we want them to or not. But it's our attachment to them that creates suffering. This is where mindfulness and meditation can be particularly helpful. When you practice mindfulness before bed, you become more aware of your thoughts without becoming entangled in them. You notice them, you observe them, but you don't hold on to them. You allow them to come and go without judgment or attachment. The more you do this, the easier it becomes to release mental clutter and quiet your mind, creating the conditions for a peaceful night's sleep. Buddhist teachings also emphasize the importance of self-compassion in the process of letting go. Often, we hold on to negative thoughts about ourselves, whether it's guilt, shame, or self-criticism. These thoughts weigh heavily on our minds, especially at night, when we're more likely to replay our mistakes or shortcomings. But by practicing self-compassion, we release the need to berate ourselves for past mistakes. We acknowledge our imperfections without judgment and allow ourselves to move forward, unburdened by unnecessary self-blame. This practice not only helps us let go of negative thoughts, but also cultivates a sense of peace and acceptance within ourselves, making it easier to relax and sleep. Letting go is also about releasing the constant need to do and achieve. In our busy world, we're constantly striving for success, approval, and validation. We fill our days with tasks, constantly moving from one to the next. But when it comes time to rest, we often carry the weight of all our ambitions and accomplishments with us. At night, we replay the tasks we didn't finish or the goals we still need to achieve. This constant striving keeps us mentally active and prevents us from fully relaxing. Letting go means releasing the need to be constantly productive, allowing yourself the freedom to rest without the pressure of your to-do list. A key component of letting go in Buddhist practice is the understanding that we are not our thoughts. Thoughts are simply mental events that arise and pass away, but they do not define us. We often identify so closely with our thoughts, believing that they are who we are. But when we practice letting go, we begin to realize that we are not our thoughts. We are the awareness that observes them. By understanding this, we can create some distance between ourselves and our thoughts, recognizing them as temporary and not something we need to hold on to. This understanding allows us to release the mental clutter and move into a state of peace and stillness, preparing the mind and body for sleep. Letting go also involves accepting that we cannot change the past or predict the future. This acceptance is deeply liberating, especially when it comes to sleep. Many of us spend our nights replaying past events or worrying about what lies ahead. But when we accept that we cannot change what has already happened or control what will come, we free ourselves from the mental grasp of these thoughts. We allow them to pass without holding on to them, and in doing so, we make room for the rest and relaxation that we need. The process of letting go is not always easy. It takes time, practice, and patience. But by consistently applying these Buddhist teachings on non-attachment and mental clarity, we begin to notice a shift. Our thoughts no longer dominate our minds, and our emotional burdens lighten. As we let go of the past and the future, we create a space for peaceful rest, free from mental clutter. And the more we practice, the easier it becomes to release the things that once kept us awake at night, inviting a deeper, more restorative sleep. By letting go, we find peace not only in our sleep, but in our waking lives as well. This practice teaches us to live with less attachment, less stress, and more acceptance, leading to greater emotional freedom and a more fulfilling life. As we release the mental clutter that weighs us down, we discover a lightness and peace that naturally extends into the quiet moments of the night. And with each night that passes, we get closer to experiencing the deep, restorative sleep that we all deserve. As we've just explored, letting go is a vital step toward releasing the mental clutter that disrupts our sleep. But even with a calmer mind and more peaceful thoughts, many of us still struggle with the nature of sleep itself. We lie in bed, hoping for rest, yet find ourselves questioning why sleep seems so elusive or why we wake up feeling unrested. The truth is, the way we view sleep has a profound impact on how we experience it. And that's where the Buddhist concept of impermanence comes in. This principle can shift our entire perspective on rest, teaching us to embrace the fleeting nature of sleep and, in doing so, find deeper appreciation for it. Sleep, in many ways, is a reflection of life itself. It's impermanent, constantly changing, and transient. When we hold on to expectations about what sleep should be, expecting to fall asleep in an instant or to experience perfect, uninterrupted rest, we set ourselves up for disappointment and frustration. These expectations, much like the things we attach to in our waking lives, only add to the mental clutter that can keep us from falling into peaceful sleep. But when we apply the Buddhist understanding of impermanence to sleep, we begin to view it differently. Sleep, like life, doesn't need to be perfect or constant. It's a cycle, an ebb and flow that changes each night. In Buddhism, the concept of impermanence, or anicca, teaches us that nothing in life is fixed. Everything, our thoughts, our emotions, even our physical experiences, is in a state of constant flux. This truth can be unsettling at first, but when we accept it, we begin to let go of our attachments and find peace in the present moment. The same can be applied to our sleep patterns. Sleep isn't something we can control or perfect. It's a natural process that flows in and out, and the more we accept its impermanence, the less we struggle against it. This shift in perspective allows us to approach sleep with less tension and more patience, ultimately making it easier to rest. When we view sleep through the lens of impermanence, we begin to understand that it's okay if sleep isn't always perfect. Some nights, we may fall asleep easily and sleep deeply. Other nights, we may wake up more frequently or take longer to drift off. Both are natural, impermanent experiences, just like the rest of life. The Buddhist perspective encourages us to accept these fluctuations instead of resisting them. This acceptance is not about giving up on improving our sleep, but about removing the unnecessary pressure we place on ourselves. When we let go of the need for sleep to be perfect, we open the door to deeper relaxation and, ultimately, better rest. Another key aspect of impermanence is the understanding that everything has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Sleep, too, follows this natural cycle. The beginning of the night might find us feeling restless or tense, but if we allow ourselves to accept the flow of our sleep cycle, we create the space for rest to unfold. The more we fight against the experience of not falling asleep right away, the more we prolong the struggle. But when we let go and accept that sleep will come in its own time, we stop interfering with the process, allowing it to unfold naturally. This perspective encourages patience, acceptance, and trust in the body's ability to rest. Buddhist teachings also emphasize the importance of mindfulness in the present moment, which is closely related to the impermanence of sleep. When we're focused on the present moment, we stop worrying about whether we will fall asleep or whether we will wake up in the middle of the night. This worry is a form of attachment, a mental grasping that keeps us from experiencing the peace that sleep offers. Instead, by embracing mindfulness, we bring our attention back to the simple act of breathing and relaxing. This practice allows us to release the mental distractions that interfere with sleep, promoting a natural flow into rest. In Buddhism, mindfulness is not about achieving a specific result. It's about being aware of what is happening in the present moment, without judgment or expectation. This approach can be incredibly powerful when it comes to sleep. Instead of obsessing over the idea of falling asleep, we can simply observe what is happening in the body and mind. We might notice tension in the shoulders or thoughts running through our minds, but instead of resisting them or getting frustrated, we simply acknowledge them and let them go. The more we practice mindfulness, the less our thoughts and worries will interfere with sleep, allowing us to rest peacefully without attachment. The concept of impermanence also teaches us to be more accepting of our sleep patterns. Just as we cannot hold on to life itself, we cannot hold on to the ideal of perfect sleep. Some nights, we may wake up several times, or sleep may feel shallow. On those nights, rather than feeling frustrated, we can remind ourselves that these experiences are temporary. They are simply part of the natural cycle of sleep. Just as the morning always follows the night, restless nights will pass, and restful nights will return. Embracing this impermanence gives us the freedom to rest without expectations, knowing that each night is different and each night will pass. When we bring impermanence into our approach to sleep, we start to see it as a fluid, natural process, not something we need to force or control. This shift in perspective changes how we experience sleep. It becomes less of a task and more of a gift, an opportunity to let go and rejuvenate. Just as our emotions, thoughts, and experiences are impermanent, so too is sleep. By embracing this truth, we cultivate a deeper appreciation for rest, allowing it to be what it is, without pressure or judgment. Additionally, impermanence can teach us to recognize the fleeting nature of time itself. Sleep, like every other part of life, is temporary. In a way, sleep becomes a microcosm of life itself, a time to rest, recharge, and renew before waking up to begin again. This awareness of the impermanence of sleep can make us more present in the process of resting, allowing us to fully experience the restorative benefits of sleep. When we stop viewing sleep as something we have to do, and instead see it as something we get to experience in this moment, we cultivate a sense of gratitude for each restful night. Through the lens of impermanence, we also come to understand that the act of falling asleep is not the end of a process, but rather the beginning of a new one. Sleep is a form of renewal, a time for the mind and body to release the stress and tension of the day and prepare for a new one. Just as the body needs food and water to thrive, it also needs rest to rejuvenate. By recognizing the impermanence of sleep, we stop fighting against it and instead embrace it as a necessary and natural part of our well-being. We no longer see it as a time of frustration or impatience, but as a time of healing and renewal. The Buddhist perspective on impermanence encourages us to find peace in letting go, whether it's the mental clutter of the day, our attachment to a perfect night's sleep, or the frustration we feel when things don't go as planned. By releasing these attachments, we create the space for deep, restorative rest. We no longer need to control our sleep or force it to be a certain way. Instead, we trust in the natural flow of the body's rhythms, accepting that some nights will be more restful than others. This acceptance helps us relax into sleep with less anxiety, ultimately making it easier to fall asleep and stay asleep. In the end, the Buddhist understanding of impermanence invites us to approach sleep with patience, acceptance, and mindfulness. By recognizing that sleep, like everything else in life, is temporary, we learn to appreciate it more fully. We stop fighting against the natural cycles of our body and instead allow ourselves to flow with them. When we embrace the impermanence of sleep, we can rest more peacefully, knowing that each night is a new opportunity for renewal, free from the expectations and pressures that often keep us awake. This shift in perspective helps us see sleep not as an obstacle or a task, but as a necessary and sacred time for rest, healing, and rejuvenation. As we continue to explore the power of impermanence in shaping our sleep, we now shift our focus to something deeply transformative: gratitude. If we think about how our minds typically work before sleep, many of us are consumed with the challenges of the day, what went wrong, or worries about the future. These thoughts can keep us awake, tossing and turning, unable to relax. But when we start cultivating gratitude, we shift the energy of our mind and heart from what is lacking to what is abundant. This simple yet profound practice can transform our sleep, making it not only restful but deeply rejuvenating. Gratitude is often seen as a practice for improving overall well-being, but it holds a unique power when it comes to enhancing sleep. At night, the mind is naturally more reflective, often replaying the events of the day, both good and bad. When we bring gratitude into this space, we begin to focus on the positive, appreciating the moments, people, and experiences that brought us joy throughout the day. Instead of holding on to frustrations or anxieties, we let go of them by turning our attention toward what we are thankful for. This act alone can completely change the way we approach rest. Buddhism places a significant emphasis on the cultivation of gratitude because it opens the heart and mind, promoting peace, contentment, and a deep sense of interconnectedness. In Buddhist philosophy, gratitude is not just about being thankful for the big things, it's about recognizing the small, often overlooked blessings in everyday life. When we start to practice gratitude, we realize how much we already have in our lives, how much we have been given, and how we are continually supported by the world around us. This understanding fosters a sense of inner peace that naturally extends into our sleep. When we go to bed with a heart full of gratitude, we carry that peaceful energy with us into the night. One of the simplest ways to cultivate gratitude before sleep is by reflecting on the day. Instead of letting the mind dwell on what went wrong or what needs fixing, we focus on the moments that went well. This could be anything from a kind gesture from a friend, a quiet moment of peace, or something as simple as the comfort of a warm bed. The practice of reflecting on these small moments helps us anchor our minds in the present moment, allowing us to appreciate what we have rather than what we lack. As we reflect, we start to shift our mental state. We stop looking outward for happiness or fulfillment, and instead recognize that much of what we seek is already here. The power of gratitude before sleep is profound because it naturally calms the mind. In a world that constantly pulls us toward more success, more possessions, more achievements, we often lose sight of the richness of what we already have. But by taking a few minutes each night to express thanks, we realign ourselves with the present, embracing a sense of sufficiency. This sense of sufficiency directly impacts the quality of our sleep. When we feel content and at peace with what is, we no longer need to chase after more or ruminate on what we don't have. We can rest in the knowledge that all is well, exactly as it is. The Buddha taught that cultivating a grateful heart is essential for developing true contentment. Gratitude has a way of softening our hearts, making us less focused on what we don't control and more at peace with what we do. When we practice this daily, especially before sleep, it sets the stage for a restful night. If we focus on gratitude in the moments before bed, we don't just prepare ourselves for sleep, we prepare ourselves for peace, joy, and acceptance. And when we cultivate peace and acceptance, sleep becomes an easy, natural experience. Gratitude also encourages us to let go of negative emotions, which can otherwise carry over into the night. The Buddhist practice of metta, or loving kindness meditation, pairs beautifully with gratitude. In metta, we send thoughts of love and kindness to ourselves and others, cultivating a sense of compassion and goodwill. When we integrate metta with gratitude, we expand the heart, not just in thanks for our blessings, but also in offering love and peace to those around us. This practice of extending goodwill helps reduce the mental noise that might otherwise keep us awake, creating an emotional atmosphere that fosters calm and relaxation. Another way that gratitude promotes peaceful sleep is by helping us overcome the tendency to dwell on negative experiences. We all have those moments during the day where things didn't go as planned, or we felt misunderstood or stressed. When we carry these unresolved feelings into the night, they can disrupt our ability to rest. But gratitude has the power to shift our focus. By consciously acknowledging the positive aspects of our day, we start to let go of the frustrations or difficulties. We can look at the day not as a series of obstacles to overcome, but as a series of opportunities for growth and learning, even in the challenges. This change in perspective frees us from the grip of negative emotions, paving the way for rest. The simple act of keeping a gratitude journal can also be incredibly effective. Before going to bed, you can write down a few things you are thankful for, no matter how big or small. This practice not only shifts your focus away from stress, but also creates a tangible reminder of the good in your life. When you commit to this practice, you begin to train your mind to seek out the positive, even in the midst of difficulty. This reprogramming of the mind makes it easier to focus on the present moment and let go of worries before sleep. There's a deeper connection between gratitude and sleep that's often overlooked. When we focus on gratitude, we foster a sense of inner calm that directly impacts the physical body. Studies have shown that gratitude can lower blood pressure, reduce stress, and promote overall well-being. This relaxation, cultivated through gratitude, sets the stage for a peaceful night of sleep. When we feel at ease emotionally and physically, the body is better able to relax into sleep. This is why gratitude isn't just a mental exercise, it's a practice that affects the entire being, helping to create the conditions necessary for deep rest. It's important to note that gratitude is not just about feeling thankful for the easy or pleasant parts of life. In Buddhist teachings, gratitude is also about finding appreciation in the difficult moments. The Buddha spoke about equanimity, the ability to remain balanced regardless of the circumstances. In the context of gratitude, this means being thankful not just for the good, but also for the lessons learned through hardship. When we can find gratitude in both the highs and lows of our day, we start to release the grip that negative experiences have on us. Instead of feeling weighed down by past challenges, we can see them as part of the larger flow of life, part of the impermanent journey that we all walk. This shift in mindset allows us to find peace even in the face of difficulty, enabling us to rest more peacefully at night. By incorporating gratitude into our nightly routine, we teach ourselves to focus on what we have rather than what we lack. This practice not only promotes better sleep, but also cultivates a deeper sense of peace and contentment in our daily lives. As we express gratitude, we are also engaging in an act of self-care. We are acknowledging our worth and the abundance in our lives, allowing ourselves to rest in that fullness. Gratitude, at its core, is about recognizing that we are enough just as we are. And this recognition allows us to enter into sleep with a heart full of peace and a mind free from the constant striving for more. The transformative power of gratitude, particularly before sleep, cannot be overstated. It creates a foundation of peace and acceptance that directly influences the quality of our rest. When we practice gratitude, we shift our focus away from what we don't have and towards what we already do. This change in perspective fosters an inner calm that makes sleep not only possible, but deeply restorative. Gratitude helps us release the worries and stresses of the day, inviting a peaceful night of rest and a renewed sense of appreciation for the life we are living. By integrating gratitude into our nightly routine, we unlock the true potential of sleep, not just as a time for physical rest, but as a time for emotional and spiritual rejuvenation. Having explored the power of gratitude and how it creates space for peace, we now shift our focus to an even deeper layer of inner peace, living in alignment with ethical principles. The way we conduct our lives, interact with others, and approach our work all play a significant role in how we feel, especially before bedtime. The more we align our actions with values such as honesty, kindness, and integrity, the more peaceful our minds become, which naturally leads to better sleep. This connection between ethics and rest might not always be obvious, but when we examine Buddhist teachings on ethics, particularly right speech, right action, and right livelihood, we begin to see how they shape not only our waking lives but also the quality of our sleep. Buddhist ethics are not about following a set of rigid rules, but about cultivating a way of living that brings harmony, reduces conflict, and fosters inner calm. In our fast-paced world, where we're often pulled in many different directions and tempted to make decisions based on immediate desires or external pressures, these ethical principles offer a grounding force. When we live according to these principles, we experience less inner conflict, which results in a more peaceful mind at night. Right speech is a key component of ethical living. It might seem simple, but the words we speak and the way we communicate have a profound impact on our state of mind, especially before sleep. When we speak kindly and truthfully, we avoid unnecessary guilt or tension that could carry over into the evening. The Buddha taught that speech should be truthful, harmonious, and beneficial. When our words align with these values, we can let go of the burden of miscommunication, hurt feelings, or unresolved conflicts. How many times have we replayed an argument or regretted something we said before bed? When we practice right speech, we minimize those instances. We speak from a place of mindfulness, choosing our words carefully and with kindness, knowing that our words shape not only how others see us, but also how we feel about ourselves. As we practice right speech in our daily lives, the peace it brings naturally carries over into the night, creating a calm state of mind that is ideal for sleep. The impact of right speech on sleep doesn't stop with our external communication. It also affects the internal dialogue we have with ourselves. Often, we are our harshest critics, holding ourselves to unrealistic standards or constantly replaying past conversations and mistakes. When we practice right speech, we also practice self-compassion. Instead of engaging in negative self-talk, we begin to speak to ourselves with kindness and patience. This shift in how we communicate with ourselves reduces anxiety, guilt, and stress, all of which can make it difficult to sleep. With right speech, we soften the inner voice that can keep us awake at night, allowing ourselves to rest more peacefully. Moving from speech to action, right action is the next ethical principle that deeply influences both our peace of mind and our sleep. In Buddhism, right action means acting in ways that are ethical, non-harming, and considerate of others. Our actions in daily life have a direct impact on how we feel, especially when we are about to rest. Have you ever felt restless or uneasy because of something you did earlier in the day, a decision you made that didn't align with your values? When we act in ways that we later regret, it creates inner conflict, which can easily disrupt our ability to unwind and sleep peacefully. On the other hand, when our actions are guided by ethical principles, we experience a deep sense of satisfaction and harmony. This sense of alignment with our values gives us the mental clarity and peace needed for restful sleep. Buddhism encourages us to act with intention and mindfulness. Whether it's choosing not to harm others, practicing generosity, or helping those in need, right action fosters a sense of integrity that frees us from the mental clutter that comes from actions we know are not in alignment with our true selves. When we make decisions with kindness and wisdom, we carry a sense of inner peace that lingers long after the day is over, allowing us to rest without the weight of regret or unresolved feelings. Similarly, right livelihood, the principle that encourages us to live in a way that is not only ethical but also contributes positively to the world, plays a key role in our inner calm. The work we do and the way we earn living significantly affect our mental well-being. If we're engaged in work that feels unethical or misaligned with our values, it can create a sense of dissonance that gnaws at us, making it harder to unwind at night. But when our livelihood aligns with our principles, whether through work that serves others, promotes peace, or contributes to the greater good, we experience a deep sense of satisfaction and balance. Right livelihood is not about perfection or achieving some grand success. It's about doing the work that brings peace to our minds and contributes to the well-being of others. When we feel that our work has meaning and that we are living in a way that is true to ourselves, we create a foundation for inner peace. This peace naturally translates into better sleep because, when we are at peace with our work and our choices, we carry no lingering stress or unresolved emotions with us at night. Instead, we rest knowing that we are living in a way that aligns with our values, which brings a profound sense of contentment. In Buddhist philosophy, the path to peace is not found solely in individual practices like meditation, but in how we live in the world. Right speech, right action, and right livelihood are all interconnected, and they work together to create a life that is grounded in peace, mindfulness, and ethical behavior. When we live according to these principles, we free ourselves from the mental clutter that often keeps us awake at night. We release the anxiety, regret, and tension that come from misaligned actions and unkind words. We let go of the stress that comes from feeling that we are not living in accordance with our true selves. Living in alignment with Buddhist ethics cultivates a sense of peace that supports not only our waking lives, but also our ability to sleep well. When our actions, speech, and livelihood are grounded in mindfulness and kindness, we reduce the internal conflicts that cause restlessness. Instead of lying in bed, replaying mistakes, or worrying about the future, we rest in the knowledge that we have lived in accordance with our values. This internal peace allows us to let go of the distractions that interfere with sleep, paving the way for deeper, more restorative rest. Ethical living also creates a stronger sense of self-trust. When we live with integrity, we know that we can rely on our own actions and decisions. This trust in ourselves fosters confidence and peace of mind, which are essential for good sleep. When we live according to our values, we are not haunted by doubts or fears about our choices. We can rest knowing that we are doing our best to live harmoniously with the world around us, and that peace of mind allows sleep to come naturally. In a world filled with distractions, pressures, and external expectations, ethical living offers a powerful anchor that grounds us. Right speech, right action, and right livelihood create a framework for living with intention and mindfulness, reducing the mental clutter that keeps us awake and unsettled. As we align our actions with our values, we free ourselves from the internal struggles that disrupt our peace and our sleep. And in doing so, we create a space where rest can come naturally, bringing the deep sleep we all deserve. Ethical living becomes a tool for both peace in life and peace in sleep, showing us that the two are deeply intertwined. By living mindfully, we not only sleep better but also live better, waking each day with a clear mind and a rested heart. After exploring how ethical living creates inner calm and leads to more restful sleep, we now turn to another crucial aspect of cultivating peace within ourselves: compassion. While we've discussed how living with integrity and aligning our actions with ethical principles can bring a sense of peace, it's also important to consider how we treat ourselves and others with kindness and understanding. Compassion, especially before bed, is a transformative practice that can deeply affect the quality of our sleep. When we embrace compassion, both for ourselves and others, we create a sense of emotional warmth that softens the sharp edges of anxiety, worry, and stress, paving the way for deeper, more peaceful rest. Anxiety, particularly at night, can be overwhelming. The mind, free from the distractions of the day, often begins to race, replaying past events, worrying about the future, and magnifying every fear. These restless thoughts stir emotions and make it nearly impossible to find peace. But when we bring compassion into this mental storm, we offer ourselves a break from the harsh judgment and constant self-criticism that fuel anxiety. Compassion offers a way to embrace our imperfections and let go of the mental clutter that keeps us from experiencing true calmness. In Buddhist practice, loving kindness or metta is a form of compassion that not only reduces feelings of anxiety, but also strengthens the mind's ability to stay present in the moment. When we practice metta, we deliberately cultivate a sense of goodwill towards ourselves and others. This practice involves silently repeating phrases like, "May I be happy," "May I be peaceful," and "May I be free from suffering." These simple words help soothe the mind, shifting our focus from the anxiety-producing thoughts to a mindset rooted in kindness. When practiced regularly, especially before sleep, this form of compassion creates a peaceful emotional environment, making it easier to unwind and let go of the worries that would otherwise keep us awake. The power of compassion lies in its ability to change our emotional response to challenging situations. For many of us, nighttime anxiety is a result of the constant self-pressure we put on ourselves, whether it's worrying about not being good enough, fearing failure, or feeling overwhelmed by the tasks that lie ahead. When we extend compassion to ourselves in these moments, we create space for acceptance rather than self-judgment. Instead of criticizing ourselves for our worries or anxieties, we treat ourselves with care and understanding, acknowledging that these feelings are part of the human experience, not something to be fixed or denied. By practicing loving kindness, we replace the harsh voice of self-criticism with a more gentle, compassionate one. This shift in how we treat ourselves has a direct impact on our mental state. Compassion softens the grip of anxiety, allowing the mind to settle more easily into a state of calm. When we're kind to ourselves, we don't feel the need to chase after perfection or strive endlessly. We can rest in the knowledge that we are enough, just as we are. This acceptance creates a sense of emotional safety, which is key for relaxing and letting go of the day's stresses before sleep. Compassion also extends beyond ourselves, and this is where it can have a profound impact on our sleep. When we practice compassion toward others, we release any resentment, anger, or frustration that may have built up throughout the day. Relationships, both personal and professional, are often sources of stress and anxiety. If we've had a difficult interaction or unresolved tension with someone, that emotional baggage can follow us into bed, disrupting our ability to sleep peacefully. However, when we extend compassion toward those with whom we have conflict, we let go of the negative emotions tied to that conflict. We make space for forgiveness and understanding, both of others and ourselves. This doesn't mean we excuse harmful behavior, but rather that we choose to release the weight of anger and frustration that can make it hard to sleep. Practicing compassion doesn't require us to condone wrongdoings, but it allows us to release the emotional grip they have on us. When we hold on to anger, we carry it with us, even into the quiet of the night, where it can disrupt our mental peace. But by embracing compassion, we let go of this burden, freeing ourselves from the emotional turmoil that keeps us awake. Compassion, in this sense, is like a balm for the soul. It heals wounds, lightens the heart, and creates the mental and emotional space needed for restful sleep. Incorporating compassion into our nightly routine also involves self-forgiveness. Many of us go to bed with lingering guilt over things we wish we had done differently during the day. We may replay mistakes, missed opportunities, or moments where we feel we fell short. These feelings of guilt can create a sense of tension in the body, making it harder to relax. When we practice compassion, we remind ourselves that we are not defined by our mistakes. We acknowledge them, learn from them, and then let them go. Self-forgiveness is an essential part of this process. When we forgive ourselves, we release the weight of guilt and make space for emotional healing. This forgiveness, like other forms of compassion, allows us to move forward with a lighter heart, making it easier to rest and recharge for the day ahead. Practicing compassion before sleep also helps to reduce the cycle of overthinking that often leads to anxiety. As we let go of judgment and self-criticism, we stop spiraling into worry. Overthinking keeps the mind in a constant state of alertness, making it difficult to unwind and let go. Compassion breaks this cycle. When we recognize that it's okay not to have all the answers, it frees us from the need to constantly problem solve or worry about what might happen in the future. By offering ourselves compassion, we allow our minds to relax and trust that everything will unfold as it should. The practice of compassion isn't just an intellectual exercise, it has a profound physical impact as well. Studies have shown that when we practice loving kindness, our heart rate slows and our body relaxes. Compassion physically reduces stress and creates a sense of ease in the body, which is essential for falling asleep. When we hold on to stress and anxiety, the body remains in a heightened state of tension. But when we offer ourselves kindness, we send a message to the body that it is safe to relax. This physical relaxation is key to entering deep, restful sleep. Compassion is like a mental and physical reset, bringing the body and mind into a state of balance and calm. To make compassion a part of your nightly routine, try setting aside a few moments before bed to practice loving kindness. You can begin by silently repeating compassionate phrases for yourself, such as, "May I be peaceful, may I be free from anxiety, may I be healthy and safe." Then, you can extend this compassion to others, whether it's your loved ones, friends, or even those with whom you may have had difficult interactions during the day. By creating this compassionate space before sleep, you prepare both your mind and body for the restful, rejuvenating sleep you need. As we continue to embrace compassion in our lives, both for ourselves and others, we begin to shift our relationship with stress and anxiety. Compassion teaches us that it's okay to have difficult emotions, and it's okay not to be perfect. By offering ourselves kindness, we release the grip of anxiety and rest in a place of emotional peace. This peace, in turn, creates the ideal environment for deep, restorative sleep, free from the distractions of worry, fear, or regret. Compassion, in essence, transforms the way we approach both life and sleep. It shifts our focus from self-criticism and judgment to acceptance and understanding. This shift doesn't just make us feel better emotionally, it directly impacts the quality of our sleep. By practicing loving kindness, we create the space for peace to take root, and with that peace comes the ability to rest deeply. In a world filled with noise and stress, compassion offers a simple but profound antidote, helping us find the calm we need to sleep peacefully and wake up ready to face the world with a clear, compassionate heart. After exploring the transformative power of compassion in calming our minds, we now turn our attention to another critical aspect of achieving peaceful sleep: balancing our energy. Throughout the day, our energy levels fluctuate, shaped by our actions, thoughts, and emotions. Often, by the time night falls, our minds remain active, filled with the buzz of thoughts, worries, or even excitement. This overactive mental state can make it difficult to unwind, preventing us from getting the restful sleep we need. Buddhist practices, such as yoga, nidra, and energy regulation techniques, offer powerful tools to help us calm our bodies and minds, creating the ideal conditions for deep, restorative sleep. By learning to balance our energy before bed, we can prevent restlessness and prepare our minds for a peaceful night's rest. Yoga Nidra, often referred to as yogic sleep, is a deeply relaxing practice that bridges the gap between wakefulness and sleep. It is a guided form of meditation where the practitioner lies down and is led through a series of body scans and awareness exercises. The goal of Yoga Nidra is to bring the body into a state of complete relaxation while keeping the mind alert but calm. This practice is incredibly effective at preventing the restless mind that so often interferes with sleep. As we go about our day, our energy can become scattered, pulled in many directions by work, responsibilities, and social interactions. Yoga Nidra helps to ground and center our energy, promoting a sense of calmness and inner peace that is ideal for sleep. The beauty of Yoga Nidra lies in its simplicity. You don't need to be an experienced yogi or meditator to benefit from it. All that's required is a comfortable space where you can lie down and allow yourself to be guided into a deep state of relaxation. As you focus on the sensations in your body and gently release tension from each part of your body, your nervous system begins to calm down. The practice of bringing attention to your breath, your limbs, and even subtle sensations like the beating of your heart helps to quiet the mind and ease the body into a state of relaxation. This process is invaluable in preparing you for sleep, as it removes the mental clutter that often keeps us awake and creates a sense of calm that is conducive to rest. In addition to Yoga Nidra, other energy regulation techniques in Buddhist practice can help restore balance to the body and mind before sleep. One of the fundamental concepts in Buddhist philosophy is that of life force energy, known as prana in Sanskrit or qi in Chinese medicine. Just as our physical body needs rest, our energy needs balance. When our energy is overstimulated, either from external stresses or internal worries, it can lead to feelings of restlessness that keep us awake at night. Energy regulation is the practice of calming and stabilizing this internal energy, helping us release tension and prevent an overactive mind from interfering with sleep. One powerful technique for balancing energy is conscious breathing. The act of focusing on the breath is a simple yet profound method for calming the body's energy. In Buddhism, breath is seen as the bridge between the body and the mind. By slowing down the breath and taking long, deliberate inhales and exhales, we create a rhythmic flow of energy that calms the nervous system. Breathing deeply activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for relaxation and recovery. This allows the body to shift from a state of alertness to one of rest, making it easier to fall asleep. Another technique rooted in Buddhist traditions is the practice of body scanning or progressive relaxation. This technique involves mentally scanning your body from head to toe, paying attention to any areas of tension or discomfort. As you bring awareness to each part of the body, you consciously release any tension, allowing your energy to flow freely and smoothly. This helps to create a sense of physical relaxation, which in turn supports a relaxed mental state. When we are physically relaxed, the mind follows suit, and we can slip into sleep more easily. By regularly practicing this technique before bed, we train the body and mind to release the day's built-up energy, ensuring a peaceful transition into sleep. Qi Gong, a traditional Chinese practice that focuses on cultivating and balancing the body's energy, can also be incredibly helpful in managing energy levels before sleep. Qigong combines gentle movement, breathwork, and meditation to regulate energy flow throughout the body. While Qigong is often practiced during the day to invigorate the body, a gentle, mindful practice of Qigong in the evening can help release accumulated tension and prepare the body for restful sleep. The slow, flowing movements allow the energy in the body to become more balanced and centered, making it easier to relax and let go of the day's stresses. For those looking to incorporate energy regulation into their nightly routine, a few minutes of gentle Qigong can be a deeply relaxing practice to ease into sleep. In addition to physical practices, Buddhist philosophy emphasizes the importance of mental energy regulation. The mind, like the body, requires balance. When we hold on to unresolved emotions, stressful thoughts, or anxieties, we create an internal imbalance that can manifest as restlessness and sleeplessness. Buddhist teachings encourage us to release these mental disturbances by practicing mindfulness and detachment. By observing our thoughts without becoming attached to them, we prevent them from taking root and keeping us awake at night. The practice of watching thoughts arise and dissolve without clinging to them helps to create a mental space that is free from the chaotic energy of overthinking. When we let go of the need to control or fix our thoughts, we prevent them from hijacking our mental and emotional energy, which promotes calmness and sleep. Another key aspect of mental energy regulation is mental preparation for sleep. Many of us have a tendency to bring the stresses of the day into the bedroom, replaying difficult conversations or worrying about tomorrow. But by preparing the mind for sleep in advance, we can avoid carrying this mental weight into the night. Buddhist practices recommend taking a few moments before bed to reflect on the day, not with judgment or regret, but with a sense of acceptance and peace. By acknowledging our experiences and releasing any attachment to them, we create a peaceful mental state that is ready for rest. This practice of letting go of the day's mental clutter helps to clear the mind, so that when we lie down, we are free to relax and sleep without the burden of unresolved thoughts. The connection between energy and sleep is also addressed in Buddhist teachings on equanimity, the ability to remain calm and balanced, no matter what arises. When we practice equanimity, we learn not to overreact to external stimuli. Whether it's a stressful situation at work, an argument with a loved one, or even the fear of not getting enough sleep. Instead of allowing our energy to be scattered by these stresses, we remain centered and composed. This sense of inner calm helps prevent the overactive mind that can keep us awake, allowing us to rest more deeply. Equanimity helps us detach from the need to control every aspect of our lives and accept things as they come. This acceptance frees us from mental and emotional tension, creating the mental clarity needed for peaceful sleep. As we continue to explore these energy balancing practices, it's important to remember that they are not quick fixes, but lifelong tools for managing the body's energy and calming the mind. Whether it's through yoga nidra, energy regulation techniques, or mindfulness practices, the goal is to cultivate a deep sense of balance that extends into every area of our lives, including sleep. When we approach sleep as an extension of our energy regulation practices, it becomes more than just a physical need. It becomes a natural, peaceful experience. By balancing our energy, both physically and mentally, we create the ideal conditions for restful sleep, free from the restlessness that often keeps us awake. These Buddhist practices are not just about improving sleep, they are about enhancing overall well-being. By learning to manage and balance our energy throughout the day and night, we bring greater peace, clarity, and harmony into our lives. As we continue to embrace these techniques, we find that not only does our sleep improve, but our waking lives become more balanced and centered, making it easier to face each day with a calm and clear mind. Energy regulation, in its many forms, offers us the tools to achieve lasting peace, both in sleep and in life. Building on our exploration of energy balancing techniques, we now move to a practice that complements and deepens all of the mindfulness and relaxation we've discussed: nightly reflection. At the end of each day, after we've spent hours engaging with the world, it's easy to forget the importance of processing the experiences we've had. The physical energy we spend during the day, combined with the emotional and mental activities, can leave us feeling fragmented and unsettled by night. By reflecting on the events of the day, we create an opportunity to release any lingering tension and bring closure to what we've experienced, allowing us to enter into the stillness of the night with a sense of peace. In Buddhist teachings, This form of nightly reflection serves as a mental purification, helping us to cleanse the mind and let go of what no longer serves us, making it easier to find rest and peace. Nightly reflection, or the practice of journaling the day, is much more than just writing about what happened during our waking hours. It is a process of pausing, examining, and understanding the events of the day from a place of clarity and mindfulness. Buddhists have long understood the importance of reflection, as it allows us to see things as they truly are, without the layers of judgment, attachment, or desire that cloud our perception. This act of reviewing our day isn't about self-criticism or reliving every mistake, but about acknowledging both the positive and negative experiences with equanimity, accepting them as impermanent and ultimately part of our journey. In doing so, we free ourselves from carrying unnecessary burdens into the night. Reflecting on the day's events can help us identify the mental and emotional patterns that affect us. Often, we are unaware of the thoughts and feelings that arise throughout the day, as they can be fleeting or unconscious. However, these thoughts and emotions accumulate, leaving us with tension that we may not even realize until we try to sleep. By taking time to review our day, we bring awareness to these thoughts, acknowledging them rather than suppressing them. This process allows us to release mental clutter, making it easier for the mind to settle and enter a state of rest. The simple act of reviewing your day before sleep can be incredibly powerful, serving as an emotional detox that clears away the accumulated stress and anxiety, preparing the mind for a peaceful transition into sleep. A key aspect of nightly reflection is non-attachment, a central teaching in Buddhism. We are often attached to our thoughts, emotions, and experiences, holding on to them even when they no longer serve us. By engaging in reflection, we practice the art of letting go, learning to view the day's events without clinging to them. When we look back on the day, we can do so with a sense of curiosity, understanding that everything, whether positive or negative, is temporary and ever-changing. This realization allows us to release our attachments to specific outcomes, allowing us to move on with our lives without carrying unnecessary weight. When we let go of these attachments, we allow space for rest and rejuvenation, creating an environment where sleep can flourish. Buddhists often speak of the impermanence of all things, and this applies to our daily experiences as well. The frustration we may feel over something that happened earlier in the day, or the excitement we may have about something upcoming, doesn't last. When we engage in reflection, we start to recognize that all experiences, whether pleasant or unpleasant, are fleeting. Understanding this impermanence helps us detach from the need to hold on to those experiences. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong or fixating on what went right, we can acknowledge that each moment is temporary and we don't need to hold on to it. In releasing this attachment, we free ourselves from the mental and emotional weight that can prevent us from finding peace at night. The practice of journaling the day allows us to reflect on our actions and how they align with our values. At night, we have the chance to review how we lived the day. Did we act with kindness? Were we mindful in our speech and actions? By reflecting on our behavior, we can assess whether we are living in harmony with our inner values or whether there are areas in which we can grow. This self-awareness doesn't need to be about harsh judgment, but about understanding our actions with a sense of compassion. The process of acknowledging both our successes and our shortcomings helps us release the tension of not having done it all perfectly. We realize that each day is an opportunity to improve, but it doesn't need to be an excuse for self-blame or regret. One of the most profound aspects of nightly reflection is the space it creates for self-compassion. Throughout the day, we may be quick to judge ourselves for mistakes, missed opportunities, or perceived failures. At night, through reflection, we can practice offering ourselves kindness and understanding. This process allows us to release the hold of guilt or self-criticism that can keep us anxious and restless. By practicing self-compassion, we let go of the mental judgments that can weigh us down, allowing ourselves to rest without the burden of self-doubt. Just as we would offer compassion to a friend who was struggling, we can turn this compassion inward, offering ourselves the same kindness and understanding. Journaling or reflecting at night also encourages us to be more mindful of our emotions. Often, emotions are the most difficult to release, especially if we haven't processed them during the day. When we look back on the day, we can see where emotions may have taken hold, perhaps frustration with a colleague or joy from a pleasant moment. By acknowledging these emotions and reflecting on why we felt them, we can begin to release the attachment to them. We come to understand that our emotions, like all things, are impermanent, and they do not define us. When we allow ourselves to feel and understand our emotions without judgment, we release the grip they have on us, making it easier to relax and sleep. Another important element of nightly reflection is the ability to set intentions for the following day. When we go to bed with unresolved tensions from the day, our minds remain restless, unable to find peace. But by reflecting on the day's events and considering what we might do differently tomorrow, we begin to release the need to control the future. This doesn't mean we need to overthink or obsess about the upcoming day, but simply acknowledging the steps we want to take allows us to let go of anxiety about what lies ahead. When we release these thoughts through reflection, we create the space for a more restful sleep, knowing that tomorrow will unfold as it should. Through the practice of reflection, we also learn to let go of expectations. We often enter sleep with the idea that we need to sleep a certain way or achieve a specific result. When we reflect on the day, we can let go of these expectations. This allows us to release the pressure of needing everything to be perfect, helping to create a calm mental state before sleep. By accepting that some nights will be more restful than others, we stop creating unnecessary tension and instead embrace the natural flow of the sleep process. Nightly reflection is also a form of mental purification. In Buddhism, purification is about clearing the mind of distractions, unhelpful thoughts, and attachments, creating space for clarity and wisdom. By reviewing the day with mindfulness, we engage in this process of mental purification, removing the mental clutter that could keep us awake. The more consistently we engage in this practice, the more effortless it becomes to clear the mind, leading to deeper rest. This purification allows us to be fully present in the moment, both during our reflection and as we drift into sleep. In the quiet moments before sleep, reflection also offers us an opportunity to express gratitude. Reflecting on what went well during the day, even in the midst of challenges, shifts our focus toward appreciation. Instead of focusing on what went wrong or what we didn't accomplish, we can find moments of gratitude for what we did experience. Whether it's gratitude for a kind word from a friend, a beautiful sunset, or simply having the opportunity to rest, this focus on gratitude helps quiet the mind and soothe the spirit, paving the way for peaceful sleep. Nightly reflection, like any practice, requires consistency and patience. The benefits of reflecting on the day will not necessarily be immediate, but with time, this practice cultivates a sense of emotional and mental clarity that naturally leads to better rest. The key is in the ability to approach reflection with openness, compassion, and an understanding that not every day will be perfect. By embracing our experiences with acceptance and allowing ourselves to let go of the mental and emotional clutter, we create the conditions for a peaceful and restorative sleep night after night. This practice of journaling the day becomes a valuable tool in both managing daily stresses and in cultivating the kind of peace and tranquility that leads to truly restful sleep. As we've just discussed how reflection helps us release mental clutter, we now dive deeper into a fundamental concept of Buddhist teachings: suffering. At first, it may seem like a heavy topic to address, especially when considering how it relates to our worries and anxieties before sleep. But understanding suffering, particularly the Buddhist concept of dukkha, can be a powerful tool in managing the anxieties that keep us awake at night. When we explore the nature of suffering, we begin to see how our worries are not permanent, and how we can transform the way we approach the mental disturbances that often accompany bedtime. This shift in perspective can be liberating, making it easier to release anxiety and embrace peace. In Buddhism, dukkha is often translated as suffering, but it also refers to the inherent dissatisfaction or unease that comes with life. It's not just the obvious pain we experience, but the subtler, more insidious forms of discomfort that arise from our attachments, expectations, and desires. This dissatisfaction is universal. It affects all people, regardless of their circumstances. When we allow ourselves to fully understand the nature of dukkha, we realize that much of the suffering we experience comes from clinging to things we cannot control. This understanding gives us the ability to let go, which is exactly what we need in order to manage the nighttime anxieties that prevent restful sleep. Nighttime worries often arise when we are confronted with the things that we feel we have no control over: work, relationships, or life's uncertainties. We lie in bed, our minds racing, replaying moments from the day, or imagining what might happen in the future. This is where understanding dukkha can help. The more we become attached to the idea that things should be a certain way, the more we suffer when things don't align with those expectations. But when we accept that discomfort is a part of life, and that suffering arises from our resistance to what is, we can start to release the need to control everything. Recognizing that anxiety and worry are simply temporary states of mind tied to impermanent conditions allows us to surrender them instead of holding on to them tightly. This approach doesn't mean ignoring or suppressing our anxieties. Instead, it involves acknowledging them without becoming overwhelmed. When we understand that all feelings, including fear and worry, are part of dukkha, part of the ebb and flow of human experience, we stop attaching ourselves to them. We stop seeing them as permanent or all-encompassing. Anxiety, just like all other feelings, is temporary. When we recognize this, it becomes easier to let go. Dukkha teaches us that suffering is not something to be feared or avoided, but something to be understood and released. One of the ways Buddhist teachings encourage us to address dukkha is through mindful awareness. Mindfulness allows us to observe our thoughts and feelings without judgment. When we are awake at night, consumed by worry, mindfulness invites us to recognize the anxiety without attaching ourselves to it. Instead of diving into the content of our worries or replaying scenarios in our minds, we can observe them as they arise, much like clouds passing through the sky. This awareness allows us to see that our thoughts are not permanent and that they do not define us. They are simply mental events that come and go. By practicing mindfulness, we create space between ourselves and our worries, which helps release the grip they have on us. Another powerful Buddhist practice that helps address dukkha is detachment. Detachment doesn't mean disengagement or indifference, but rather a shift in how we relate to our thoughts and emotions. It's the ability to experience life fully without becoming overly attached to outcomes or expectations. When we lie awake at night, worrying about the future or regretting the past, detachment helps us release the hold those thoughts have on us. We begin to understand that our thoughts are just thoughts, and our fears are not necessarily grounded in reality. They are projections of our mind, which is constantly changing and evolving. By practicing detachment, we learn to let go of our need to control or predict what will happen, and in doing so, we reduce the mental clutter that prevents restful sleep. The Buddhist understanding of impermanence also plays a key role in releasing nighttime anxieties. Dukkha is tied to our attachment to things, and one of the core teachings of Buddhism is that everything is impermanent. When we hold on to worries or anxieties, We are clinging to something that is fleeting, something that will inevitably change. The future is unknown, and the past is gone. When we embrace the reality of impermanence, we recognize that our worries, too, are transient. They are not permanent fixtures of our mind. In this way, we can begin to accept the flow of life without trying to control every moment. This acceptance allows us to surrender our anxieties and settle into the present moment where peace resides. Understanding dukkha also involves recognizing that much of our nighttime anxiety comes from a sense of wanting things to be different. We worry about not having enough, about not meeting expectations, about not living up to our potential. But Buddhism teaches that wanting things to be different than they are is one of the main sources of suffering. When we stop wishing for things to be other than what they are, we stop struggling against life. We can learn to accept things as they are, whether it's a situation, a person, or even our own thoughts and feelings. This acceptance doesn't mean we don't strive to improve or make changes, but it means that we find peace in the present moment, even if things are not perfect. This acceptance is closely tied to the practice of self-compassion. In Buddhism, compassion is not only extended to others but also to ourselves. Often, we are our harshest critics, especially when it comes to our fears and anxieties. We may judge ourselves for feeling anxious or for not being able to turn off our worries. But by practicing self-compassion, we release this judgment. We accept that anxiety is part of being human and that it is okay to feel it. We treat ourselves with kindness, understanding that we are doing our best in a world that can sometimes feel overwhelming. This compassionate mindset eases the burden of nighttime anxiety, allowing us to rest without the added weight of self-criticism. As we integrate Buddhist principles into our understanding of dukkha and nighttime anxiety, we come to realize that anxiety itself is not the problem. It's our relationship to anxiety that causes suffering. When we resist or deny our anxieties, we amplify them. But when we accept them as part of the ebb and flow of life and practice letting go, we diminish their power. The Buddha taught that suffering is not something to be avoided, but something to be understood and transcended. By applying this wisdom to our nighttime worries, we can learn to live with our anxieties in a way that doesn't disrupt our sleep or our peace of mind. At the heart of Buddhist teachings is the idea that peace comes from within. When we stop looking outside of ourselves for answers or solutions and instead turn inward, we find that the answers are already there. We learn to accept the impermanence of our thoughts, the fleeting nature of our worries, and the transient quality of our suffering. This acceptance, combined with the practices of mindfulness, detachment, and self-compassion, helps us release the mental tension that can keep us awake at night. When we understand dukkha and its relationship to our nighttime worries, we gain the freedom to experience sleep not as an escape from anxiety, but as a natural, peaceful state of being. By recognizing the impermanent nature of our thoughts and feelings, and by cultivating a sense of detachment, we can transform the way we relate to our nighttime worries. Understanding dukkha allows us to release our attachment to outcomes, making it easier to let go of the mental and emotional baggage that often keeps us awake. In doing so, we pave the way for peaceful, restorative sleep, grounded in the wisdom and acceptance that comes from Buddhist teachings on suffering. Building upon our understanding of how suffering and attachment influence our nighttime rest, we now turn to a more direct way to calm the mind and body: breathing. Breath is a fundamental part of Buddhist practice and plays a crucial role in regulating our energy and calming our thoughts. The power of the breath cannot be overstated. It's one of the simplest, yet most effective ways to quiet a racing mind, especially before sleep. When we bring attention to the breath, we immediately anchor ourselves in the present moment, allowing the body to relax and the mind to settle. In Buddhism, the practice of anapanasati, or mindful breathing, is a cornerstone technique used to cultivate inner peace and focus. This practice involves paying close attention to the breath, its natural rhythm and flow, without trying to control it. By simply observing the breath as it enters and leaves the body, we can create a mental state of calmness that is essential for sleep. This technique is incredibly powerful because it requires no external tools or complex techniques. It only asks that we bring our awareness inward to something we always carry with us, our breath. Anapanasati can be practiced in many different ways, but the essence remains the same: to focus on the breath as it naturally occurs. When we focus on the breath, we create a moment of stillness, giving the mind a chance to rest. Often, we spend our days caught up in the whirlwind of thoughts, obligations, and worries. But when we turn our attention to the breath, we give the mind something simple and calming to focus on. This practice takes us out of the future and the past and places us squarely in the present, where peace can be found. As we inhale, we breathe in calmness, and as we exhale, we release tension and stress. This simple act of breathing with awareness can help us leave behind the noise of the day, allowing the mind to slow down and the body to relax in preparation for sleep. Breathing practices like Anapanasati also help us regulate the nervous system. Our breathing is often shallow and rapid when we're anxious or stressed, signaling to the body that we're in a state of alertness. When we consciously slow our breath and deepen it, we activate the body's relaxation response. This slows down the heart rate, lowers blood pressure, and signals to the mind that it is safe to rest. The breath becomes the bridge between the body and mind, allowing us to release the tension that can keep us awake and enter a state of relaxation. By practicing mindful breathing, we allow the body to transition from a state of stress or restlessness into one of ease, creating an optimal environment for sleep. Buddhist breathing practices also encourage us to let go of control. In daily life, we often find ourselves trying to control everything: our thoughts, emotions, and even our sleep. But when we engage in mindful breathing, we let go of that need for control. We simply observe the breath without attempting to change it. This act of surrender can be incredibly freeing, as it reminds us that we don't need to force anything. Just as the breath flows naturally in and out, sleep, too, will come when the conditions are right. By learning to trust in the natural flow of the breath, we also learn to trust in the natural flow of sleep, releasing the anxiety and pressure that can prevent us from resting. Another key aspect of Buddhist breathing practices is the idea of awareness. In Buddhism, mindfulness is about bringing full awareness to the present moment, and the breath is an ideal object of focus. When we focus on the breath, we cultivate an awareness that extends beyond just the physical act of breathing. We become more aware of our thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations. This awareness allows us to observe our mental and emotional states without judgment or attachment. When we bring this awareness to our breathing before bed, we begin to notice any lingering tensions, worries, or thoughts that may be preventing us from sleeping. By acknowledging them without judgment, we can begin to release them, making it easier to enter a state of peace. Buddhist breathing practices also teach us about the connection between body and mind. The state of our mind directly affects the body, and vice versa. When we are anxious, our breath becomes shallow and fast, which can increase feelings of unease. However, when we practice deep, mindful breathing, we activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which calms the body and mind. This connection between breath and state of mind is not only key for relaxation, but also for achieving deep, restful sleep. By consciously regulating our breath before sleep, we can shift our physiological state, creating the conditions for restful, uninterrupted sleep. A common variation of Anapanasati that is used to deepen the practice is counting the breath. As we breathe in and out, we count each cycle of breath, usually starting with the first inhale and exhale as 1, the second inhale and exhale as 2, and so on, up to 10. This simple practice helps keep the mind focused and prevents it from wandering, When we reach 10, we begin again at 1. This counting method serves as a mental anchor, preventing the mind from drifting into distracting thoughts, anxieties, or worries. The more consistently we practice this technique, the more naturally it becomes to bring our awareness back to the breath, reducing the distractions that can keep us awake. The practice of breathing with intention is also valuable. Sometimes our minds become restless because we are not fully present in the moment. We are either ruminating on past events or projecting into the future. By practicing mindful breathing, we bring our focus back to the present. Each breath we take is a reminder to be here now. We can even set an intention for the breath, such as, with each inhale, I bring in calm, or with each exhale, I release stress. This intentional breathing not only helps to calm the body, but also aligns the mind with a sense of purpose and clarity. When we breathe with intention, we create a more purposeful and peaceful experience, which helps release the distractions of the day and sets the stage for restful sleep. An important aspect of Buddhist breathing practices is that they are meant to be non-striving. In many Western approaches to relaxation or sleep practices, there is often an emphasis on achieving a particular result, whether it's falling asleep quickly, reducing anxiety, or reaching a state of deep calm. However, in Buddhism, the practice is not about forcing an outcome, but simply being with the breath as it is. There is no expectation that you will fall asleep immediately or experience a profound sense of peace every time you practice mindful breathing. Instead, the goal is to simply be present with your breath, allowing it to naturally guide you into relaxation. By letting go of any expectations, we make the process of winding down more fluid and less stressful. The beauty of these breathing practices is that they can be done by anyone at any time, and they require no special tools or environment. The practice of mindful breathing, especially before sleep, offers an accessible, practical way to calm the mind and prepare the body for rest. Whether you're lying in bed or sitting in a quiet space, you can always return to the breath as a way to anchor yourself in the present and release any lingering anxiety or tension. This simplicity makes the practice ideal for nightly use, as it doesn't require a significant time commitment or special preparation. Just a few minutes of focused, intentional breathing can help bring the mind into a peaceful, relaxed state, ready for sleep. In conclusion, the practice of mindful breathing, particularly anapanasati, is a powerful and accessible tool for calming the mind and body before bed. By bringing our attention to the breath, we create a mental environment that is conducive to relaxation and sleep. These breathing techniques help us shift from a state of stress or restlessness to one of calm and acceptance. As we continue to embrace the practice of mindful breathing, we not only improve our ability to sleep, but also cultivate a deeper sense of mindfulness and presence in our everyday lives. With consistent practice, the breath becomes an anchor to a more peaceful and restful state night after night. As we have seen, the practice of mindful breathing offers a simple yet profound way to calm the mind and prepare the body for restful sleep. However, just as important as the breath is the presence of silence, both external and internal. In our busy world, silence is often rare. The noise of the day, combined with our internal chatter, makes it difficult to unwind and find peace. But Buddhism offers valuable insights into the transformative power of silence. By learning to cultivate and appreciate silence, we can create a mental and physical environment that is conducive to deep, restorative rest. Understanding the role of silence in our daily lives, especially at night, can lead to a more peaceful, uninterrupted sleep. External silence is often the first thing we think of when it comes to creating a restful environment for sleep. In Buddhism, the emphasis on external silence is not just about reducing physical noise, it's about creating a sanctuary of calm where the mind can relax. In many ways, the space around us reflects the state of our inner world. When there is constant noise in our environment, whether it's from technology, traffic, or even background conversations, it can be difficult for the mind to settle down. These external sounds, while seemingly innocuous, can be subtle sources of stress that keep our nervous systems alert, making it harder to transition into rest. In Buddhist practice, silence serves as a foundation for stillness. When we intentionally reduce external noise, we allow our minds to relax and focus inward, setting the stage for deep sleep. However, external silence is only one aspect of what Buddhism teaches about the role of silence in fostering peace. Internal silence is just as important, if not more so, when it comes to calming the mind. Internal silence refers to the quieting of our thoughts, emotions, and mental chatter. Throughout the day, our minds are constantly engaged in thinking, problem-solving, planning, and replaying past events. This continuous mental activity can make it difficult to settle into rest at night as the mind struggles to slow down. Buddhism teaches that our thoughts are like waves on the surface of a pond, constant, noisy, and ever-changing. To achieve peace and restful sleep, we must learn how to quiet the surface of the pond, allowing the mind to settle into stillness. The key to internal silence, according to Buddhist teachings, is mindfulness and detachment. By practicing mindfulness, we become aware of our thoughts without becoming entangled in them. We recognize that thoughts are transient, like clouds passing through the sky, and we do not need to cling to them. This awareness allows us to release the mental chatter that can keep us awake at night. The more we practice mindfulness, the more we learn to observe our thoughts without reacting to them, creating a sense of peace and stillness in the mind. With regular practice, this mental stillness becomes more accessible, even when we are lying in bed, trying to fall asleep. Detachment is another powerful tool for creating internal silence. When we become too attached to our thoughts, emotions, or anxieties, we give them power over us. We may ruminate on past conversations or worry about the future, fueling the mental noise that keeps us awake. Buddhism teaches that detachment is not about suppressing or denying our thoughts, but about letting them come and go without holding on to them. When we practice detachment, we allow our thoughts to rise and fall naturally, without judgment or attachment. This creates the mental space for silence, which is essential for restful sleep. Detachment teaches us to release the need to control our thoughts or make sense of everything before bed. Instead, we allow our minds to simply be without the pressure of overthinking. Silence also teaches us to embrace acceptance. When we resist the present moment, whether it's through our thoughts or emotions, we create unnecessary tension in the body and mind. In Buddhist practice, acceptance is the key to peace. When we accept the thoughts and feelings that arise without judgment, we create an internal environment of silence. This acceptance allows us to let go of the mental noise that keeps us agitated and anxious, making it easier to transition into sleep. By embracing silence both internally and externally, we create the conditions for relaxation, which is essential for achieving deep rest. Buddhism teaches that the more we seek to control or manipulate our thoughts and emotions, the more we create resistance. And the more resistance we create, the more noise there is in the mind. This resistance often manifests as anxiety, worry, or a sense of being overwhelmed. But when we practice letting go and simply allowing thoughts and feelings to come and go, we begin to experience a natural sense of calm. Silence, in this sense, is not the absence of sound, but the absence of attachment to the constant stream of thoughts and emotions. It is the mental space where peace can flourish, and it is only in this space that restful sleep can be fully realized. The power of silence is also deeply connected to presence. When we are truly present with ourselves, we experience a deep sense of stillness, as we are not distracted by thoughts of the past or the future. In Buddhism, presence is often cultivated through practices such as meditation, where the focus is placed solely on the present moment, whether through breathing, body awareness, or simply being. By focusing on the here and now, we free ourselves from the grip of mental distractions. This presence is what allows us to relax fully before sleep, knowing that the present moment is enough, and that we don't need to carry the burdens of the past or the anxieties of the future into our rest. Furthermore, the practice of silence is intricately linked to the concept of non-reactivity. Often, our nighttime anxieties arise from the mental habit of reacting to thoughts, emotions, and situations in a reactive manner. When we are unable to sleep, we might find ourselves mentally reacting to thoughts or worries, trying to solve problems or replaying events. This constant mental reactivity creates a sense of tension and agitation that prevents relaxation. By practicing non-reactivity, another key aspect of Buddhist teachings, we learn not to engage with every thought that arises, but simply to observe it without judgment. This practice teaches us to remain calm and detached from the constant mental chatter that keeps us awake. Non-reactivity cultivates inner silence, allowing the mind to settle and sleep to follow naturally. One of the reasons silence is so important in Buddhism is because it allows us to connect with our true nature. In the hustle and bustle of daily life, we are often disconnected from our deeper selves. The noise and distractions of the world pull us away from our center, making it difficult to find peace. But through silence, we reconnect with that stillness within. This inner silence is not empty. It is full of awareness, presence, and peace. By embracing silence, we tap into this inner wellspring of calm, which helps us quiet the mind before sleep. When we make silence a part of our nightly routine, we create a bridge between the chaos of the day and the stillness of the night. Buddhist silence also encourages us to let go of the need for constant stimulation. In our modern world, we are constantly surrounded by noise, whether it's from technology, social media, or the constant demands of work and relationships. This constant stimulation keeps our minds active and prevents us from finding true rest. In Buddhist practice, silence is seen as a way to step away from this overstimulation and reconnect with our natural state of peace. By reducing external noise, whether by turning off electronics or creating a calm, quiet space for sleep, we invite silence into our lives, allowing the mind to settle and rest. Finally, silence is a powerful form of mental purification. In Buddhism, silence is not just the absence of sound, but a tool for clearing away the clutter of the mind. The more we embrace silence, both internally and externally, the clearer our minds become. This mental purification creates the optimal environment for deep, uninterrupted sleep. Just as we cleanse our bodies through physical rest, we cleanse our minds through the practice of silence. By allowing ourselves moments of quiet, we rid the mind of unnecessary distractions, enabling it to rest fully and deeply. As we embrace the practice of silence, we begin to see its profound impact on our ability to sleep. It's not just about removing external noise, but also about cultivating an internal state of peace and presence. Silence allows us to clear away mental clutter, reducing anxiety and worry, and creating the perfect conditions for restful sleep. Through the practice of mindfulness, detachment, and non-reactivity, we begin to understand the true nature of silence, not as emptiness, but as a state of connection, peace, and presence. This understanding of silence can transform the way we approach rest, allowing us to sleep not only more soundly, but with a greater sense of tranquility and clarity. Having explored the power of silence in cultivating a peaceful mind and body before sleep, we now shift to another important factor that deeply influences our ability to rest: our relationship with technology. In today's world, it's nearly impossible to avoid the constant buzz of our digital devices. Whether it's the glow of a smartphone screen, the constant flow of notifications, or the temptation to check emails or social media, technology often intrudes upon the quiet moments that should be reserved for rest. This connection between the mind and digital distractions has become a significant barrier to restful sleep. But Buddhism offers profound wisdom on how we can address this issue by practicing mindful disconnection. In Buddhist teachings, mindfulness plays a central role in how we relate to the world. Mindfulness involves being fully present in each moment, without distraction and without judgment. In the context of technology, practicing mindfulness means recognizing when our devices are taking us away from the present moment and consciously choosing to disconnect. The impact of constant digital engagement on our minds is undeniable. It keeps us alert, stimulated, and ultimately restless. But when we mindfully disconnect from these distractions before bed, we allow ourselves to reclaim that peace, calm, and stillness needed for deep, restorative sleep. One of the key principles in Buddhism that relates to our interaction with technology is the teaching of non-attachment. We live in a culture of constant connectivity, where the expectation is that we remain available and responsive at all times. This constant engagement, whether through emails, messages, or social media, pulls us away from the present and creates attachment to things that don't serve our well-being. In Buddhist philosophy, attachment is a root cause of suffering. We become attached to the idea of being constantly connected, and in doing so, we lose touch with the present moment. When we practice mindful disconnection, we are essentially practicing non-attachment to the digital world. This practice helps us to let go of the urge to constantly check our devices and be on, allowing us to transition into a more peaceful, restful state before sleep. Technology is often a source of overstimulation. The overstimulation caused by screens, notifications, and constant information overload makes it extremely difficult to unwind at night. Buddhists teach that one of the most essential elements for cultivating peace is reducing mental distraction. The constant barrage of digital information taxes our minds, preventing us from relaxing and entering a state of rest. The habit of checking our phones or watching TV before bed keeps the mind in a heightened state, making it hard to settle into the stillness necessary for sleep. By adopting a mindful approach to disconnection, we can create a sense of peace and quiet that nurtures the transition from wakefulness to restfulness. Buddhism also emphasizes the importance of being present in the moment. This is the opposite of the distracted state we experience when we are constantly connected to our devices. Every time we pick up our phone or check an app, we are pulled away from the present moment. This constant switching of attention leads to mental fragmentation, leaving us mentally scattered and unable to fully relax. Practicing mindful disconnection before bed is a way to return to the present and embrace stillness. It is about creating a boundary between the digital world and the quiet space we need for rest. When we disconnect from technology, we create the opportunity to be truly present in the moment, whether that moment is spent reflecting on the day, engaging in a calming ritual, or simply allowing our bodies and minds to rest. An important Buddhist practice that aligns with this mindful disconnection is intentional simplicity. In Buddhism, simplicity is seen as a path to inner peace. By simplifying our surroundings and our routines, we reduce the clutter in both our external environment and our internal world. Technology, with its endless apps, social media platforms, and digital noise, often clutters both. When we practice intentional simplicity before bed, we remove the distractions that interfere with our mental clarity. This might mean turning off all devices, setting aside any screens, or creating a ritual that centers us, such as reading a book, meditating, or simply sitting in silence. By simplifying our pre-sleep environment, we create a more peaceful, serene space for rest, aligned with the principles of mindfulness and simplicity that are so central in Buddhism. The practice of detachment is another key Buddhist principle that can help guide our relationship with technology, especially before bed. In Buddhism, detachment does not mean indifference or disengagement, but rather a recognition that things are impermanent and not inherently satisfying. Technology can create attachment because it provides constant stimulation and the illusion of connection. However, these connections are often shallow and fleeting, and they do little to nurture our true sense of well-being. By practicing detachment from our devices, we acknowledge that the momentary satisfaction we get from checking our phone or scrolling through social media is not fulfilling in the deeper sense. Detaching from these fleeting distractions allows us to focus on more meaningful activities before bed activities that nourish our bodies, minds, and spirits. Another benefit of disconnecting from technology is that it supports our ability to practice self-compassion. Many people find themselves feeling anxious or stressed due to the pressure of keeping up with emails, social media, or the constant demands of their devices. This pressure, over time, can contribute to feelings of burnout and exhaustion. By disconnecting from technology before bed, we are offering ourselves a moment of compassion. We are recognizing that it's okay to step away from the digital world and that we deserve a break from the constant demands placed on us. This act of self-care is vital for mental and emotional well-being. When we honor our need for rest and disconnection, we nurture our inner peace, allowing ourselves the time and space to relax before sleep. The quality of attention is also an important consideration when it comes to technology and sleep. In Buddhist practice, attention is one of the most powerful tools for cultivating mindfulness. What we focus on shapes our experience. When we allow ourselves to be constantly distracted by our phones or devices, we are scattering our attention, making it difficult to focus on what truly matters: our well-being and our need for rest. Practicing mindful disconnection means choosing where to direct our attention. By setting aside digital distractions before bed, we give ourselves the gift of focused, undistracted attention, which allows us to be more present and relaxed in the moment. This focused attention prepares the mind to enter a state of relaxation, essential for deep, restorative sleep. The idea of balance is also fundamental to Buddhist practice. While technology can be a useful tool in our daily lives, it is important to find a balance between the digital world and the need for inner peace. Just as Buddhism teaches us to find balance in all aspects of life, whether it's in our work, relationships, or emotions, we must also apply balance to our use of technology. Disconnecting before bed is an important practice in creating this balance. By consciously deciding to turn off our devices and step away from digital distractions, we are asserting control over our environment and our energy. This balance between connectivity and disconnection allows us to rest and recharge fully, ensuring that we are able to return to our digital lives with clarity and mindfulness the following day. The Buddhist concept of impermanence also offers a powerful insight when it comes to technology. Just as everything in life is temporary, so too is the digital world. The constant stream of information, updates, and notifications is fleeting. In Buddhism, we learn to let go of our attachment to things that are impermanent, and this applies to our relationship with technology. By recognizing that the digital world is not permanent and that we don't need to be constantly available or connected, we can release our attachment to it. This recognition helps us detach from the need to check our devices constantly, allowing us to fully embrace the present moment and prepare for restful sleep. Ultimately, the practice of mindful disconnection from technology is about creating the right environment for peace, relaxation, and sleep. Just as the Buddhist teachings emphasize the importance of mindfulness in every aspect of life, they also highlight the value of disconnecting from external distractions to cultivate an inner calm. Disconnecting before bed allows us to step away from the mental clutter and overstimulation caused by our devices, enabling us to focus on the present moment. This practice helps us reclaim our peace, reduce anxiety, and create a sense of balance in our lives. As we embrace this mindful disconnection, we pave the way for more restful, restorative sleep, night after night. After exploring the importance of disconnecting from technology and finding balance, we now turn to a topic that brings us even deeper into the mysteries of our sleep: dreams. The world of dreams has fascinated humanity for centuries. Yet in Buddhist philosophy, dreams are not just random fragments of our subconscious. They are seen as powerful reflections of our inner world, offering valuable insights into our minds, emotions, and even our spiritual journey. Buddhism encourages us to approach dreams not just as a curiosity or an escape, but as a tool for self-discovery and growth. Understanding the significance of our dreams can provide us with a deeper connection to our own inner truth. And when we integrate this awareness into our daily lives, we can achieve greater peace and clarity both in our waking state and during our sleep. In Buddhist teachings, dreams are seen as an extension of the impermanence that defines all things. Just as the waking world is fleeting, so too are the dreams we experience. The Buddhist perspective on dreams offers a lens through which we can view them as an expression of our mind's temporary and ever-changing nature. They are often considered a manifestation of our desires, fears, and unresolved emotions. However, rather than dismissing them as mere illusions or random experiences, Buddhist philosophy encourages us to treat dreams as an opportunity to observe the workings of our mind and to gain a deeper understanding of our inner life. According to Buddhist teachings, everything in life, including our dreams, is a product of consciousness and perception. Just as we interpret our waking world through the lens of our thoughts, beliefs, and desires, we also interpret our dreams in a similar way. Dreams reflect not only the subconscious, but also the way in which our minds perceive reality. This understanding invites us to approach dreams with curiosity and mindfulness, seeing them as a mirror of our emotional and psychological states. By examining our dreams, we can learn about the fears, attachments, and patterns of thinking that influence us during the day, and how they show up in our nighttime experiences. One of the most significant insights Buddhist philosophy offers about dreams is their connection to illusion. In the Buddhist worldview, the concept of Maya refers to the idea that all things are illusions, impermanent and ever-changing. This includes our dreams. While dreams may seem real at the moment, they are simply fleeting experiences that arise from our mind's projections. Understanding that dreams, like everything else, are impermanent and illusory can help us release any attachment or fixation we might have to the content of our dreams. Instead of clinging to them as if they were definitive truths, Buddhism encourages us to see them as transient phenomena that are part of our mental landscape, offering us a chance to explore our inner workings without becoming overly attached to their meanings. Buddhism also offers valuable guidance on how to integrate the wisdom of dreams into our waking lives. In traditional Buddhist practice, there are teachings about the mind's ability to become lucid, even within dreams. This practice of lucid dreaming can be seen as a form of mindfulness while asleep, where the dreamer becomes aware of the dream state and begins to influence the dream consciously. This practice allows the dreamer to approach dreams with clarity, seeing them as a tool for spiritual insight rather than just unconscious experiences. The goal is not to control or manipulate the dream, but to witness it with awareness, much like we witness the events of our waking life. By doing so, we can understand how our subconscious patterns are influencing us, and we can use that awareness to transform our waking thoughts and behaviors. Lucid dreaming, however, is just one example of how Buddhism encourages us to engage with our dreams. In many Buddhist traditions, the practice of dream yoga is taught as a way to deepen one's awareness during sleep. Dream yoga is an advanced meditation practice that involves cultivating mindfulness and concentration even while dreaming. By training the mind to be aware of its thoughts and emotions during sleep, we can transform our relationship with dreams and use them as a tool for spiritual development. Dream yoga offers an opportunity to transcend the ordinary duality of waking and sleeping, allowing the practitioner to gain insight into the true nature of consciousness itself. Even without the practice of lucid dreaming or dream yoga, Buddhism encourages us to reflect on our dreams as part of our daily mindfulness practice. By taking time to consider the themes, symbols, and emotions that arise in our dreams, we can begin to uncover the deeper layers of our unconscious mind. Dreams often reveal our hidden fears, desires, and unresolved conflicts. When we approach them with mindfulness, we can use them as a mirror to reflect on the aspects of our lives that we may be avoiding or suppressing. This process of reflection can help us gain clarity, release emotional blockages, and cultivate a deeper sense of self-awareness. Another key aspect of understanding dreams in Buddhism is the practice of non-attachment. In Buddhist philosophy, attachment is seen as a root cause of suffering. Just as we become attached to our waking experiences, we can also become attached to the content of our dreams. We may try to hold on to the meaning or significance of a dream, believing that it holds an important truth about our lives. But Buddhism teaches that attachment to any experience, whether it's a dream or a waking moment, creates suffering. By letting go of the need to attach meaning to every dream, we can approach them with greater equanimity, allowing them to come and go without clinging to them. This practice of non-attachment frees us from the cycle of over-analyzing or obsessing over our dreams, allowing us to rest peacefully without the weight of trying to interpret every symbol or image. Buddhism also teaches us the importance of compassion in relation to our dreams. Often, our dreams bring up difficult emotions, unresolved fears, or traumatic memories. Instead of judging ourselves or feeling afraid of these dreams, Buddhist teachings encourage us to approach them with compassion and understanding. Just as we would offer compassion to a friend going through a difficult time, we can offer compassion to ourselves in our dreams. This compassionate mindset allows us to release any negative emotions that may be attached to the dream content and to view them with a sense of peace rather than fear or guilt. By practicing self-compassion in the face of difficult dreams, we can integrate the wisdom they offer without being overwhelmed by them. Understanding the impermanence of dreams also allows us to embrace them without fear. In Buddhism, the acceptance of impermanence is a key part of transcending suffering. When we understand that all things, whether they are waking experiences or dreams, are impermanent, we can release the need to hold on to them. This acceptance of impermanence allows us to approach our dreams with a sense of calm, knowing that they are temporary and that their content does not define us. The practice of embracing impermanence helps us let go of the tendency to become overly attached to our dreams, whether we find them pleasant or unsettling. This mindset frees us from the grip of fear and anxiety, allowing us to sleep more peacefully and integrate the insights from our dreams into our lives with greater ease. As we continue to explore the connection between Buddhist teachings and dreams, it's clear that dreams are not something to be feared or dismissed. They are powerful tools for self-awareness, offering insights into the mind's deeper workings. By integrating Buddhist philosophy into our understanding of dreams, we begin to see them as a natural part of our spiritual journey. We can use our dreams to reflect on our fears, desires, and unresolved emotions, and we can integrate this wisdom into our waking lives to cultivate greater peace and clarity. In doing so, we transform our relationship with both sleep and dreams, allowing both to become sources of insight, peace, and spiritual growth. Following our exploration of how understanding dreams can offer insights into our inner world, we now turn to a practice that directly influences the quality of our sleep meditation. The connection between meditation and sleep has long been recognized in Buddhist teachings, where meditation is not just a spiritual practice, but a tool for creating balance and harmony within the body and mind. Sleep, as we've discussed, is more than just a physical process. It's deeply linked to our mental and emotional states. Meditation helps us cultivate the peace and stillness necessary for deep, restorative rest. By investigating the impact of meditation on sleep cycles, we can uncover how regular practice enhances both the quality and depth of our sleep, bringing about not only physical relaxation, but also emotional and mental rejuvenation. The impact of meditation on sleep cycles is profound. When we meditate, we enter a state of calm that prepares both the body and mind for rest. In Buddhist meditation, this is often referred to as samadhi, a state of deep concentration and stillness. This stillness isn't just about quieting the mind temporarily, but about creating a lasting sense of peace that remains even as we transition into sleep. Through consistent meditation, we can train the body to naturally relax, reducing the tension that often builds throughout the day and interferes with sleep. By regularly entering this state of calm, we recondition the body's natural rhythms, allowing sleep to flow more easily and deeply. One of the most significant effects of meditation on sleep is its ability to regulate the nervous system. The body's stress response is a powerful force. When we are under stress, our bodies release cortisol and other stress hormones that keep us alert and awake. Meditation helps counteract this by activating the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of the nervous system responsible for relaxation and recovery. Through mindful breathing, focused attention, and body awareness, meditation reduces the production of stress hormones, allowing the body to enter a state of relaxation that is conducive to sleep. The more we practice meditation, the more we enhance our ability to manage stress, making it easier to wind down at night and improve the quality of our sleep. Buddhist teachings also emphasize the importance of mental clarity and focus qualities that meditation nurtures. Our minds, often clouded by worries, anxieties, or distractions, can create a barrier to sleep. When the mind is restless, it prevents the body from fully relaxing, making it difficult to transition into sleep. Meditation helps clear the mind, allowing us to let go of the thoughts and emotions that keep us awake. With consistent practice, meditation helps us develop greater mental clarity, so we don't become overwhelmed by intrusive thoughts at bedtime. This mental focus doesn't just improve our ability to fall asleep, it also enhances the quality of our sleep, helping us achieve deeper, more restorative rest. Another critical benefit of meditation is its ability to help regulate our circadian rhythms. Our bodies have a natural internal clock that regulates when we feel awake and when we feel tired. Meditation can help synchronize this internal clock by encouraging a regular rhythm of relaxation and alertness. The practice of meditation before bed helps signal to the body that it's time to unwind, promoting a natural transition into sleep. As we develop a consistent meditation routine, our bodies learn to associate the practice with rest, helping to regulate sleep cycles and create a more predictable, restful sleep pattern. Over time, meditation can help reinforce healthy sleep habits, making it easier to fall asleep and wake up feeling refreshed. Buddhist meditation also encourages us to cultivate equanimity or mental balance, which is crucial for improving sleep. Equanimity is the ability to remain calm and centered no matter what challenges or stresses arise. In a world filled with distractions and pressures, it's easy to become overwhelmed, especially at night when our minds have more space to wander. Meditation helps us cultivate this sense of balance, so that even if we experience difficult emotions or thoughts during the day, we don't carry them into our sleep. By practicing equanimity, we learn to detach from the mental clutter that can prevent us from resting peacefully. This detachment helps us release the tension that accumulates during the day and enter a state of calm, which is essential for restful sleep. In addition to mental clarity and emotional balance, meditation fosters a deeper connection between the body and mind. The practice of body scanning, where we bring awareness to different areas of the body, helps us relax physically while also calming the mind. This mind-body connection is critical for improving sleep quality. Often, when we're tense or anxious, we hold that tension in our muscles, particularly in the neck, shoulders, and back. Meditation helps us release this tension, creating physical ease that allows the body to relax and prepare for sleep. Through practices like mindful breathing and body scanning, we learn to recognize where we're holding tension and consciously release it, which helps facilitate a smoother transition from wakefulness to sleep. The Buddhist practice of mindful awareness also plays a key role in preparing the mind for sleep. Mindful awareness encourages us to be fully present in the moment, free from present judgment or attachment. At night, this practice becomes particularly valuable as it helps us avoid getting caught up in the mental narratives or worries that often keep us awake. When we approach sleep with mindfulness, we learn to let go of our expectations or anxieties about sleep itself. Instead of worrying about how long it will take to fall asleep or whether we'll wake up during the night, we simply allow ourselves to be present with our bodies and minds. This acceptance of the present moment helps us release the pressure we put on ourselves to sleep perfectly, creating a peaceful mental state that invites rest. Incorporating meditation into our nightly routine also aligns with the Buddhist principle of impermanence, which teaches us that everything is temporary. Just as we must learn to let go of attachments to the past and future in our waking life, we must do the same when it comes to our sleep. Meditation encourages us to approach sleep with a sense of impermanence, understanding that our thoughts, emotions, and even our sleep patterns are ever-changing. By embracing this fluidity and letting go of the need for control, we create an internal environment that is free from the tension of expectations or judgments. This shift in perspective allows us to enter sleep with ease, knowing that each night is an opportunity to rest and rejuvenate, free from the mental clutter that often disrupts our sleep. Moreover, the consistency of meditation plays a vital role in improving sleep quality. Just as we create physical habits like brushing our teeth or having a cup of tea before bed, meditation can become an integral part of our bedtime routine. Consistent practice helps train the body and mind to relax at specific times, making it easier to wind down and prepare for sleep. When meditation becomes a habitual part of our evening, it signals to the body that it's time to transition from the busyness of the day to the stillness of night. Over time, this consistency helps regulate our sleep patterns, making it easier to fall asleep and wake up feeling refreshed. The combination of mindfulness, physical relaxation, and emotional balance that meditation fosters makes it a powerful tool for improving sleep cycles. As we practice regularly, we not only create a peaceful environment for sleep, but we also train ourselves to be more present, more centered, and more resilient in the face of life's challenges. Meditation teaches us to respond to stress with calmness and clarity rather than anxiety and restlessness. This shift in how we handle stress throughout the day naturally extends to our sleep, making it easier to release tension and embrace the rest we need. In conclusion, meditation is not just a practice for relaxation, it is a transformative tool for improving sleep cycles and overall sleep quality. By fostering a state of calm and mindfulness, meditation helps us regulate our nervous system, balance our energy, and create the mental clarity necessary for deep, restorative rest. With consistent practice, meditation can help us break free from the mental and emotional barriers that keep us awake, allowing us to embrace sleep with peace and ease. Through meditation, we learn to honor the natural rhythm of our bodies and minds, creating the optimal conditions for sleep, night after night. Building upon the deep connection meditation creates between body and mind, We now turn to another powerful tool within Buddhist practices that directly enhances the quality of our sleep: sound. We've discussed how inner calm and mindfulness lay the foundation for a peaceful night's rest, but sometimes the right auditory environment can be the final key to unlocking true relaxation. In Buddhist traditions, sound is considered not just an external experience, but a tool for transformation. Buddhist chanting, mantras, and sound healing practices have long been used to create peace, harmony, and balance within the mind and body. These sacred sounds have a unique ability to shift our energy, calm our nervous system, and guide us into a deep, restorative sleep. Sound, in Buddhist practice, is more than just noise. It's a form of vibration that carries spiritual and healing energy. In fact, everything in the universe is in constant vibration, including our thoughts, emotions, and bodies. When we experience sound, whether it's the gentle hum of a mantra, the chanting of sacred words, or the resonance of a singing bowl, we are engaging with these vibrations in a way that can influence our mental and physical states. Sound healing is about more than just listening to pleasant tones. It's about allowing the vibrational frequencies of sound to shift the energetic patterns within our bodies and minds. When we use sound in a mindful and intentional way, we tap into its ability to restore balance and promote a peaceful, healing environment for sleep. In Buddhist tradition, one of the most common uses of sound is chanting. The repetitive nature of chanting allows the mind to focus and enter a state of calm. Buddhist monks often chant mantras, sacred phrases, or sutras as a form of meditation, each syllable a reminder to stay present and connected to the divine. These mantras, when repeated, create a rhythmic sound that helps clear mental distractions and guide the practitioner into a meditative state. The effect of chanting is deeply calming. It brings the mind back to the present moment, clears the clutter, and creates a peaceful inner environment. This is especially important before sleep, as it helps slow down the racing thoughts that often prevent restful rest. When we engage in chanting or listen to chanting before bed, the steady repetition helps to synchronize our minds with the rhythm of the sound, promoting relaxation and mental clarity. One of the most powerful mantras in Buddhist tradition is the Om Mani Padme Hum, often referred to as the mantra of compassion. This mantra is believed to invoke the energy of Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva of compassion. And by repeating or listening to this mantra, we connect with the energy of love and kindness. The sounds themselves are considered sacred and have been used for centuries to promote peace and healing. The rhythm of the chant, combined with the vibrational resonance of the sounds, creates a soothing environment that naturally calms the nervous system. When repeated before sleep, this mantra helps to dissolve the tension of the day, reducing anxiety and promoting a sense of comfort and safety. The practice of chanting also encourages a deep, steady breath, which is another reason it can be so beneficial for sleep. When we chant, we naturally slow down our breath, taking longer, more intentional inhales and exhales. This deep, rhythmic breathing helps activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for relaxation and rest. By bringing awareness to the breath through chanting, we create the ideal conditions for the body to unwind, which is essential for falling asleep peacefully. In addition to chanting, sound healing practices such as Tibetan singing bowls and gongs are often used in Buddhist rituals to create an atmosphere of healing energy. These instruments produce sounds that resonate at specific frequencies, known to influence the energy within our bodies. The vibrations from a singing bowl, for example, can help clear energetic blockages, calm the mind, and promote a deep sense of relaxation. The tones from these instruments are often slow, melodic, and reverberating, helping to induce a state of tranquility. Listening to or meditating with these sounds before bed can significantly improve the quality of sleep. The vibrations of the singing bowls help realign the body's energy, reducing stress and creating an environment that invites sleep. The healing properties of sound are not just about the quality of the sound itself, but the intention behind it. In Buddhist sound healing practices, the sound is not merely a tool for relaxation, it is a way to connect to higher states of consciousness and divine energy. This deeper spiritual connection brings a sense of peace and alignment that helps release the worries and tensions that might otherwise prevent us from entering restful sleep. By engaging with sound in a mindful way, we align ourselves with the present moment, creating a peaceful state of mind that naturally supports the transition into sleep. Listening to sounds that promote relaxation, such as chanting, Tibetan bowls, or natural sounds like flowing water, also helps to block out the external distractions that might keep us awake. In our modern world, we are constantly bombarded by external noises, traffic, people, technology, and these sounds often disrupt our ability to sleep deeply. By consciously choosing to immerse ourselves in soothing, healing sounds before bed, we create an auditory environment that shields us from distractions, helping to set the stage for deep rest. These sounds help drown out the noise of the external world, allowing us to focus inward and release any stress or tension from the day. Mantras also carry a unique power in their ability to soothe the mind. In Buddhist practice, mantras are more than just words. They are vibrations that hold energetic significance. Repeating a mantra, or even listening to one, helps synchronize our thoughts with the sacred intention behind the words. Each mantra has a specific vibrational frequency that resonates with different aspects of the mind and body. When we engage with these mantras, we harmonize ourselves with the universal energies they represent. This alignment with the vibrations of the mantra helps clear mental chatter, reduce anxiety, and calm the mind in preparation for sleep. Whether recited aloud or listened to as a recording, mantras have the power to create an environment of peace, making it easier to release the tensions of the day and embrace the stillness of the night. Incorporating sound healing into our daily routines doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as listening to calming sounds before bed, such as chants, mantras, or soothing instrumental music. The key is creating an auditory environment that fosters relaxation and peace. When we do this consistently, we begin to establish a healthy bedtime ritual that signals to the body that it is time to rest. Over time, the association between soothing sounds and sleep becomes stronger, and the process of winding down becomes more effortless. The connection between sound and sleep is deeply rooted in the Buddhist understanding of how vibration and energy affect the body and mind. Sound is not just a passive experience, it is an active force that influences our emotional, mental, and physical states. When we listen to sound with intention, whether through chanting, mantras, or healing instruments, we engage with this energy in a way that promotes healing and balance. This process helps us release the mental and physical tension that keeps us awake, creating a peaceful environment that allows for deep, restorative sleep. By incorporating these Buddhist sound practices into our nightly routines, we can significantly enhance the quality of our sleep. Whether it's chanting a mantra, listening to a Tibetan singing bowl, or simply being present with soothing sounds, we create an environment of peace and harmony that supports our rest. Sound, when used with mindfulness and intention, is a powerful tool for transforming our sleep experience, allowing us to enter a state of deep rest and wake up rejuvenated, both physically and spiritually. The healing power of sound is a gift we can access every night, offering us a way to align with the natural rhythms of the body and mind, facilitating a restful and restorative sleep cycle. Having explored the power of sound and its ability to guide us into a peaceful state of mind before sleep, we now turn to a practice that can purify the mind and ease inner turmoil: loving kindness. This simple yet profound practice, often referred to as metta in Buddhist teachings, has the potential to transform not just our sleep, but our overall sense of well-being. We tend to carry a lot of emotional weight into the night, especially when we harbor unresolved feelings or conflict, whether with ourselves or others. Loving kindness offers us a powerful antidote to this, helping us release negative emotions and replace them with compassion and warmth. Extending loving kindness, especially before sleep, is a practice that purifies the mind, heals emotional wounds, and creates a foundation for deep, restorative rest. The nature of loving kindness is rooted in the simple idea of offering goodwill and compassion to ourselves and others without expecting anything in return. It's an unconditional offering of care and tenderness that helps heal emotional scars and soften the harshness of our thoughts. Before we sleep, we often reflect on the day's events, and it's easy to focus on moments of frustration, conflict, or regret. These thoughts can carry a heavy emotional charge, which keeps the mind racing and restless. But by intentionally turning our attention toward kindness, whether we're offering it to someone who has hurt us or to those we love, we create a shift in the energy of our minds. The practice of extending loving kindness helps to soften these hard emotions and create space for peace. When we focus on loving kindness before bed, it reduces the emotional tension that often builds throughout the day. We may carry unresolved anger, hurt, or resentment, all of which create inner turmoil and prevent us from resting fully. However, when we practice loving kindness, we begin to dissolve these negative emotions. The act of sending goodwill to others, especially to those we may have had conflict with, helps to release the mental grip that these emotions have on us. Instead of replaying arguments or worries in our heads, we use loving kindness as a way to offer forgiveness both to others and ourselves, freeing the mind from the burden of emotional distress. A core element of the loving kindness practice is to wish well for others, starting with ourselves. In Buddhism, the first step is always to extend love and compassion inward, offering ourselves the same care we would offer to a dear friend. This helps us let go of any self-criticism or negative self-talk that might keep us awake at night. Instead of focusing on our perceived flaws or mistakes, we offer ourselves kindness and acceptance. This shift in how we relate to ourselves allows us to release the negative emotions that can cause anxiety or self-doubt, providing the mental clarity needed for peaceful sleep. When we offer ourselves loving kindness, we break free from the cycle of self-judgment and open ourselves up to rest and rejuvenation. Once we've extended loving kindness to ourselves, we can then extend it to others, including those we may be in conflict with. It's easy to carry anger or frustration towards someone into the night, especially if we've had an argument or disagreement. These unresolved feelings can create emotional turbulence, making it hard to find peace before sleep. But through the practice of loving kindness, we learn to offer goodwill even to those who have hurt or upset us. This doesn't mean we excuse their behavior or forget about the conflict. Rather, it's about releasing the emotional grip that the situation has on us. By wishing for the happiness, safety, and well-being of others, regardless of our personal feelings, we create space in our hearts for forgiveness and peace. Loving kindness is not just an intellectual exercise, but a practice that engages the heart. The power of this practice lies in the emotional shift it creates. When we actively wish others well, even those we have difficulty with, we soften the emotional charge attached to them. It's common to hold on to resentment, grudges, or unresolved emotions toward others, and these feelings can significantly affect our mental state, especially at night. But by consciously choosing to offer kindness instead of holding on to negative feelings, we experience a release of tension. We allow ourselves to let go of the emotional weight that we carry, creating a peaceful inner space that naturally leads to restful sleep. The effects of loving kindness extend beyond emotional healing. It also plays a vital role in mental purification. In Buddhist practice, mental purification refers to the process of clearing the mind of distractions, negative thoughts, and emotional baggage. Loving kindness is a purification tool because it helps to transform negative emotions into positive energy. When we practice loving kindness, we actively shift our mindset from one of anger, fear, or resentment to one of compassion, understanding, and goodwill. This purification clears the mental clutter that can keep us awake at night, helping us achieve the calmness needed for a peaceful night's rest. It is through this mental purification that we gain a sense of inner peace, free from the turmoil of unresolved emotions or conflicts. Additionally, the act of extending loving kindness is deeply connected to the Buddhist principle of non-attachment. Often, our emotional struggles are linked to our attachments to certain outcomes, expectations, or past hurts. We become attached to the idea that things should be different, that we should have been treated better, or that someone else should have behaved differently. This attachment creates emotional pain and keeps us bound to past events. However, by practicing loving kindness, we begin to detach from these expectations. We learn to let go of the need for things to be different, accepting the impermanence of life and the people around us. This non-attachment allows us to release the emotional grip that past experiences have on us, freeing us to enter a state of peace and calm before sleep. Another crucial aspect of loving kindness is its role in fostering compassionate communication. Often, when we carry unresolved emotions into the night, it's because we've had difficult interactions with others, whether through harsh words or misunderstandings. These unspoken conflicts linger in our minds, preventing us from finding closure. Loving kindness helps to release the need for confrontation or retaliation by promoting a spirit of understanding and empathy. When we approach others with compassion, we create a space for open communication and reconciliation. This not only improves our relationships, but also frees us from the emotional weight of unresolved issues, allowing for a clearer, more peaceful mind when we try to sleep. It's important to note that loving kindness doesn't just help us let go of negative emotions toward others, it also encourages us to cultivate patience and acceptance. In our fast-paced, often judgmental world, it's easy to become frustrated with ourselves or others when things don't go according to plan. This impatience can lead to stress and anxiety, especially before bed. Loving kindness teaches us to be patient, both with ourselves and the world around us. Instead of rushing or forcing things to be a certain way, we allow ourselves and others the space to be imperfect. This patience and acceptance soften the harshness of life, making it easier to let go of any lingering frustrations or anxieties that might keep us awake. The practice of loving kindness is not something we engage in just for the sake of others. It also serves as a form of self-care. We often overlook how much we need to be kind to ourselves, especially when we're struggling emotionally. It's easy to be critical of ourselves when we feel we haven't lived up to our own expectations. But by offering ourselves loving kindness, we provide the compassion and support that we often seek from others. This act of self-compassion helps to relieve the mental strain that comes from self-criticism, allowing us to rest easier and sleep more soundly. Finally, the power of loving kindness extends into the realm of spiritual growth. Buddhism teaches that the practice of love and compassion is not just for personal peace, but also for the greater good of all beings. When we cultivate loving kindness in our hearts, we contribute to the collective energy of compassion in the world. By sending goodwill not just to those we love, but to all beings, we tap into a universal force that fosters harmony, peace, and interconnectedness. This sense of connection can bring about a profound sense of peace within ourselves, clearing away the emotional obstacles that prevent us from resting fully and peacefully. In conclusion, loving kindness is a powerful practice that offers much more than emotional relief. It is a pathway to a calmer, more peaceful state of mind, and ultimately to better sleep. By extending kindness and compassion to ourselves and others before bed, we create an environment of emotional release and mental clarity. This practice of loving kindness purifies the mind, heals emotional wounds, and releases the attachments and anxieties that can keep us awake. When we make loving kindness a regular part of our nightly routine, we pave the way for deep, restorative sleep, setting the stage for a new day filled with peace and compassion. Having explored the power of loving kindness in promoting peaceful sleep, we now turn to an equally important topic: overcoming nighttime fears and phobias. For many, nighttime can be a time filled with anxiety, fear, or unease. Whether it's the fear of being alone, the fear of the dark, or anxiety about the challenges of the next day, these fears can prevent us from finding restful sleep. Buddhist teachings offer valuable insights into how fear and attachment manifest in our minds and how we can address them through mindful awareness, non-attachment, and compassionate understanding. By applying these teachings, we can begin to transform our nighttime fears into opportunities for growth, healing, and deep rest. Buddhism teaches that fear arises from our attachment to things we cannot control. This attachment can manifest in many ways: our attachment to safety, our attachment to certainty, or our attachment to the belief that we should always be in control. Fear, in this sense, is rooted in the illusion that we can control the uncontrollable. And when we face situations that challenge that illusion, like when we're alone at night, or when our minds become unsettled, fear often follows. Understanding that fear is a form of attachment helps us to recognize that these fears are not permanent or unchangeable. Instead, they are reflections of our internal struggles with letting go. When we learn to let go of our attachment to control, we begin to release the fear that arises with it. In Buddhist philosophy, non-attachment is a core principle. It's not about being indifferent or detached from the world, but rather about recognizing the impermanent nature of all things. Everything, including our fears and anxieties, is temporary. When we are attached to the idea that certain things should never change or that we must always be in control, we create a fertile ground for fear to grow. But when we practice non-attachment, we loosen our grip on the need for control and allow ourselves to experience life as it is, with all its uncertainty and unpredictability. This acceptance of impermanence directly counters the anxiety that often arises at night, allowing us to rest easier, knowing that we don't need to control every aspect of our lives or our circumstances. A key Buddhist teaching that can help us address nighttime fears is the practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness involves being present with whatever arises in the mind without judgment or attachment. Instead of trying to push away our fears or anxieties, mindfulness allows us to simply observe them with awareness. For instance, if we find ourselves anxious about being alone or fearing the dark, mindfulness teaches us to acknowledge the fear without reacting to it. We observe the fear as it comes up, recognize it for what it is, a passing mental state, and allow it to fade away without adding fuel to the fire. This practice of observing fear without judgment creates space for calmness and clarity, making it easier to release the grip that fear has over us, particularly at night when we are most vulnerable to these feelings. When we face fear, whether it's related to nighttime anxieties or something deeper, compassion is another important tool. In Buddhist practice, compassion is not only about offering kindness to others but also to ourselves. Often, when we experience fear, we respond with harsh judgment. I shouldn't be afraid, or why am I so weak? But these self-critical thoughts only reinforce the fear, making it grow stronger. Compassion, on the other hand, invites us to approach our fear with gentleness and understanding. We offer ourselves kindness and patience, acknowledging that fear is a natural human experience. Just as we would comfort a friend who was afraid, we learn to comfort ourselves in moments of anxiety, helping to soothe the mind and calm the body. This compassionate approach creates a safe space for us to experience and release fear rather than letting it take root. Buddhism also teaches that awareness of our thoughts can help us overcome fear. The mind often amplifies our fears, spinning them into worst-case scenarios or irrational thoughts. We may begin to fear the night because we start imagining all sorts of negative outcomes or dangers that are not present. Buddhist teachings encourage us to recognize that these thoughts are not facts, they are just thoughts passing through the mind. By bringing awareness to our thoughts, we can begin to see them for what they are: temporary mental events, not truths that need to control us. When we stop identifying with these thoughts, we can let them go, reducing the grip they have on our emotions and making it easier to rest. This awareness practice is not about suppressing fear, but about seeing it clearly and releasing it without attachment. In Buddhist meditation practices, there is also a focus on calming the body. Fear is often felt in the body as tension, rapid breathing, or a racing heart. Buddhist teachings on meditation encourage us to focus on relaxing the body, bringing awareness to each muscle group, and releasing tension. By practicing this body-centered approach, we learn to release the physical manifestations of fear, which in turn helps calm the mind. One meditation technique, body scanning, involves mentally scanning each part of the body, starting from the toes and working up to the head, with the intention of relaxing each muscle group. This practice not only helps us relax physically, but also allows the mind to focus on something calming, creating a peaceful environment for sleep. Another way Buddhist teachings help us manage nighttime fears is through the practice of gratitude. When we're consumed by fear, it's easy to become fixated on what we lack or what might go wrong. However, gratitude shifts our focus. When we actively practice gratitude, thinking about the things we are thankful for, even in the face of fear, we change our perspective. Instead of focusing on potential threats or anxieties, we begin to acknowledge the goodness and safety that exist in our lives. This shift in focus helps to release fear and anxiety, creating a mental space where peace can settle. Gratitude also helps to ground us in the present moment, reducing the tendency to spiral into imagined worst-case scenarios. By fostering a mindset of gratitude before bed, we create an atmosphere of warmth and security that promotes restful sleep. In dealing with fear, detachment also plays a crucial role. Fear often arises because we are attached to certain outcomes or experiences. We fear the unknown or fear that something might happen outside of our control. Buddhism teaches that detachment from these outcomes, recognizing that we cannot control everything, helps to release the anxiety that arises from fear. When we stop attaching ourselves to the idea of a perfect night of sleep or the expectation that we should never feel afraid, we create space for acceptance. We allow ourselves to experience the natural ebb and flow of fear without being overwhelmed by it. This detachment from expectations frees us to rest without the weight of anticipated worry, making it easier to drift off into sleep. Impermanence, a central concept in Buddhism, also offers great relief from fear. Fear arises when we cling to the idea that something is permanent, whether it's our fear of the dark or the fear of facing challenges in life. Understanding that everything is temporary, including our fears, helps us release their power. Just as the night passes into day, our fears, too, are transient. They may feel overwhelming in the moment, but with mindfulness and detachment, we can watch them fade away. By remembering that fear, like all things, is impermanent, we loosen its grip on us, allowing ourselves to rest in the certainty that it will pass. Finally, spiritual practice in Buddhism helps to transcend the fear of the unknown. Fear often arises from the uncertainty of life, particularly at night when we are left alone with our thoughts. Buddhist meditation and mindfulness practices, which encourage us to be present and aware in the moment, help us release this fear of the unknown. By accepting the unknown as a natural part of life and learning to be at peace with it, we can transform our nighttime fears into opportunities for spiritual growth. When we no longer fear uncertainty, we can embrace it fully, entering sleep with an open heart and a calm mind. In conclusion, Buddhist teachings offer profound insight into how we can manage and release nighttime fears. Through mindfulness, detachment, compassion, and acceptance, we can transform our relationship with fear and anxiety, especially at night. By incorporating these practices into our nightly routine, we create a mental and emotional environment that promotes peace, allowing us to sleep more soundly and wake up feeling refreshed. The teachings of Buddhism offer a powerful toolkit for overcoming fear, providing us with the tools to cultivate inner calm and experience peaceful sleep, free from the grip of nighttime anxieties. As we've journeyed through these 10 Buddhist lessons for peaceful sleep and a calmer life, we've uncovered how profound practices such as mindfulness, loving kindness, detachment, and meditation can not only enhance the quality of our sleep, but also bring a deeper sense of peace into our daily lives. From the power of mindful breathing to the importance of embracing silence, every practice we've explored is a tool to help you calm your mind, release anxiety, and find balance night after night. As you begin to implement these teachings, remember that peace is a process. Every step you take toward mindfulness and compassion, both for yourself and others, creates a stronger foundation for restful sleep and a more peaceful, grounded life. It's not about achieving perfection, but about progress, small shifts that add up to meaningful change. I'd love to hear how these practices resonate with you, and if any of them have made a difference in your nightly routine. Drop a comment below sharing your thoughts or personal experiences. If you found this video helpful and want more content like this, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on future insights that can enhance your well-being. Let's continue to learn, grow, and sleep peacefully together.